Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio live in Attleboro.
Everybody
Studios. Back after a few weeks off. Some scheduling stuff, a lot going on. But we're back. Wanted to be back tonight before the draft. Exciting times. The best time of the year.
Draft day is like another holiday that should just basically give us the day off, or heck, the whole 3 or 4 days off. Yep. And, at this point, living in New England, we've come accustomed to, like, what are they going to do, right? What Pat's going to do on draft day?
I feel like this year, too, is like the biggest year for Patriots draft yet.
Absolutely.
I mean, when have you ever heard talks about Pats drafting up? I mean, it's always down. Everyone always gets mad. Every year we draft down. For once in our lives, we're talking about drafting up. And, I mean, I'm excited. I know there's a lot of different opinions on who they're going with. A lot of different opinions all around the NFL. And Ryan's just pulling up now, which is perfect. So we won't get too deep into it. And we also got the break coming up, so we always kind of jibber-jabber. But I mean, we got San Fran talking about 4 potential people they could pick with the number 3 tomorrow.
They're all over the place.
So, I mean, it's anybody's game.
I think the big thing with the Pats is in the past when they have traded up, it's come as a surprise. Like, we didn't know ahead of time, and then all of a sudden they're trading up and they're picking somebody, like a Chandler Jones or a Gerard Mayo or whoever. So we haven't seen a lot of that, like, ahead of time. So now all the talk that we're hearing is like, okay, are the Pats going to trade up to 4? Are they going to trade up to 8? Oh, there's rumors that Carolina's on the phone, and they're talking about getting that. What's up, Rod Daddy? So it's interesting that you're hearing this stuff now ahead of time, because in the past, like I said, it was, okay, Pats are picking at 31. Oh, all of a sudden, they trade up to 15 or whatever. Yeah, so it's interesting to see that, and I'm excited for the speculation. Honestly, I still feel like they either stay at 15 or trade down, but it really depends on who gets picked in those first, half dozen picks. So, I know Ryan's got an opinion on that. I know Tim's been, looking at the waiver line and seeing what's up.
Yeah.
Dude, good being in studio with you guys.
Look at you, buddy.
What's up?
What a great surprise.
Coming on down on your way home from work. That's what I'm talking
man,
about,
busting in from South Bay. Get on the highway, take that 95 journey down to the borough.
At least this time of year, buddy. Like 95, thanks to COVID, has been relatively pretty good.
Oh, yeah, man. It's a nice, smooth drive. I think it took me like 43 minutes to get here tonight, so I'll take that every day of the week. And, I had a little traffic going in this morning.
From Dorchester, that's not bad at all,
From the Bay, yeah, not bad at all.
I knew you were in Dorchester. I was just up there the other day dropping my truck off.
Yeah. Oh, man, every day except for Monday and Thursday, I'm in the Chester.
Monday and Thursday, you're off, huh?
Yeah, those are my days. I got to be with the boys.
Wait, how'd you get out of work so early?
I worked 9 to 5 today, man.
Really?
It's like punching the 9 to 5 clock,
You should get those shifts because you got it. Like, you guys open the store at like 7:30, right?
Sometimes? No. Yeah. The early team comes in. Yeah.
You should do that on like Wednesdays.
Well, I mean, it was lucky that I was able to do the 9 to 5 today. So I mean, perfect timing, because I actually ended up leaving around 5:30, and then by the time everything was said and done, get to the car. So it was like, all right, shoot for 6:30, 6:45. I was able to stop, grab a little snackaroo, a couple drinks, and man, walked in the door. It was like,
I didn't miss much, right?
Nope.
No, man, we just opened up the show. So
like 3 passes.
So Celtics suck. Bruins are mediocre.
Yep.
The Red Sox are exceeding
looking great right now. Absolutely.
And all right, so that's
and then we get the draft.
Now
so,
we're talking draft.
It's all about.
I just feel so much like it's the 2017 Red Sox, give or take. Yeah, but just about. It's that underdog team.
It's too
feel.
early.
That's scrappy.
Plus, like all of your talented teams and good teams are sucking right now. They're awful, like especially the Yankees.
They're hitting well though. I like
especially the Yankees, and it's so great.
I just love this. I love the scrappy do teams where it's not a bunch of big names and we just get it done.
I think that's the thing I like the most about the Sox right now is that they've got JD and they've got Bogarts, but other than that, it's a bunch of guys that they've kind of thrown together into this nucleus. Bobby Dalbec at his first home run a couple days ago. That's great to see. He's really anchored the first base position. They've brought in Enrique Hernandez and Marwin Gonzalez, a couple of like super utility guys that have been playing all over the place and doing a great job for him, especially Hernandez playing in the leadoff spot. And then you've got, Hunter Renfroe. Like, this guy can hit 30 home runs, and he's playing like every other day for us.
Yep.
So he's the kind of guy that can get streaky and knock a few out of the park and drive in some runs. Devers is finally getting the ball. that launch angle locked in and doing his thing, which is fantastic. Christian
it's good to see
Vasquez.
him back in the groove.
I'm not worried about our offense.
Offense is looking great,
I'm not worried about our offense.
So that's exactly where I'm heading with this conversation. So the offense is looking great, and I expected some of that to be the case. But what I'm really loving is this pitching staff. The starters have been awesome. You got a great game out of Garrett Richards last night, 7 strong,
finally.
one run.
Finally.
I told my buddy Matt, if you can get that every third or fourth start from him, and then he just pitches like he had the first few starts, they're going to be surprisingly good because the rest of the starters have been fantastic. And then the bullpen, can we just talk about my boy Matty Barnes just locking it down?
I've always liked Barnes. I feel like he's one of the he always gives you consistent, performance. I feel like.
We all know the Red Sox are no longer playing in Pawtucket. The Paw Sox are not there anymore. They're the Woo Sox now. But back when Barnes was in Pawtucket, I was going to the games a lot, and he was great down there. It was awesome seeing him throw. And then, of course, when he made it up to the bigs, they never really had a set role for him. And one of the things that I got excited about was hearing that he went into Cora and said, I want to be the closer. That, to me, was all right. He's stepping into that role, stepping up and taking that responsibility. Because obviously we brought in Ottavino, and he could have been a closer, and he's playing high leverage roles as well. But to see Barnes step up like that, the guy's just throwing mad strikes right now. He's got a curveball that just dives off the plate. You can't touch that curve.
I don't think we're winning tonight, though.
And he just throws the heat. We're playing against DeGrom tonight. Here's the fun part. Their offense is terrible. So if we could scratch a run or two together and then get a decent game out of Pavetta, all right, we're good. Maybe we can make it happen.
Pavetta had a solid start last time out, too.
He's been good.
Until the 6th inning blew up in his face.
He's been pretty good.
The only downside to them playing well is I anticipated getting cheap tickets, and that didn't happen. And now it's sold out every game.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just,
And hey, Massachusetts is opening it up a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't know if you saw the governor's announcement.
Yeah, which I believe it's up to 25% now, which doubles capacity.
That's good.
Yep. So by the end of May, you'll have that, and then look, by the time the dog days of summer roll around, it's going to be a wide open world.
Hey, we might have.
It's going to be like the Wild Wild West.
We might have full Gillette Stadium.
Hopefully. I think we're going to have a full Gillette Stadium.
And I'm fine with that because I want some affordable Tampa Bay tickets.
Let's go.
By affordable, I'm expecting to pay big money, but not get just gouged.
Right. You don't have to spend the kids' college
payment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how are we looking on that break, Nick?
We got the break here, so
all right, let's take it.
We'll come back and we'll probably dive right into some draft talk.
I'm down with it.
That's a big topic.
I got one main question for you guys with the draft talk.
All right, well, we'll save that on the other side. 508-222-1320. Give us a call. We'll talk to you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio. Yeah, myself, Drew, and Ryan in studio.
Yeah, so I got out of work at like 6:20, and I was like, okay, I need a drink.
Ooh, good save. Good save.
I need a fudgy drink. I need a
went to
fudgy drink.
Boneyard.
Fudgy drink.
Saw
Nice.
my girl Riley.
Oh, yeah.
Got a drink. And then I'm on my way here, and Tim's like, yeah, you sending those hateful emails at Boneyard. What? Wait, what? Wait, does he have cameras set up at Boneyard or something? Like, I'm like,
how'd you know I was there?
I'm like, all right.
Might have drove by it. Scout.
Probably. Saw my blue Civic.
Maybe that's
Probably.
the case, man.
That was probably
reliable.
it. That's probably it. Okay, I got a
So,
question.
hey, let's ask that question,
I got a
'cause I
question.
wanna answer that
I got a
question.
question. Because, like, I feel like I'm on a lonely island here.
Okay.
What is your beef with Trevor Lawrence?
So 2 years ago in the championship game,
When he
he
won it?
looked like a bag of poop.
When he won?
No. When he lost
Yeah.
against LSU, against Burrow. Wasn't that the year they lost to Burrow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he
But
won 3
LSU
years.
was just, in terms of the talent of that team, was just far above everybody. Like, I don't think Clemson had any Clemson had no shot in that game.
No, I agree with
At
you.
all.
And LSU was that good. Obviously, look at all the guys that came out that year and are in the league now, and they were top picks. But it was just the presence
I'm
that
gonna
I
look up
didn't
his stats
feel like
right
he
now.
had on the field. I just like it didn't click for me. Like he didn't. I don't know what it was, man. He just wasn't like moving the ball down the field. And then there was a point in the game where I felt like he just gave up.
That LSU defense was
And
stout that year.
He felt like he
that was
gave up.
That was
and
one bad game. That was.
I was like, you know what, man? Like, you don't give up. Like, you go out there and you ball. And you ball and you ball and you ball. And if you lose, but you ball.
A perfect counter to that, or example of that, would be Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I mean, you're down 30 points in the. I don't.
The year before he faced Alabama in the national championship, and he absolutely demolished it.
I don't hate him. To me, like, I don't get NFL quarterback vibe.
Yeah.
I think he's
Whether that's just me just having you know what I mean? I don't think he's terrible. I just don't see him mending well in the NFL. I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I dove in. You know, ESPN Plus is the greatest thing I've ever
love
bought
ESPN.
this year.
ESPN.
And Detail is one of my favorite show series on that as part of
haven't
that
watched that.
subscription.
I'll
And
have to watch it.
I watched all of the breakdowns. So Eli Manning, Tim Tebow, and I think some third guy does the analysis on all the quarterbacks, and they're like 30-minute episodes, and they just dive into like game tape on each quarterback. Trevor Lawrence was the best I saw.
So, who I like, I'm big on Justin Fields. I know you don't like Justin Fields. Here's a contrary to what you just said. It's kind of like different perspective, same thing.
I've been yo-yoing.
Have you ever seen QB Beyond the Lights?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and I not fell in love. That sounds weird to say. Like, I really liked him on that show, and I just followed him every year after. And to me, he's just gotten better and better and better. I think he looks great. You know, Mac Jones looked terrible out there at pro day, and Fields strived. So for me, I don't know. It's kind of like a toss up. I feel like if I was an NFL coach, Lawrence isn't my go-to. He's not my number one. I
think he's your clear-cut number one.
I think if you're picking
everyone.
a quarterback there.
In front of everybody.
And you've got to pick a quarterback there, right? So if you're the Jaguars, you're on the clock, you've got to make a pick there at QB. I think of the guys that are available, he's the guy that you select.
Now, could you imagine
Fields?
they don't go with him?
What's that?
Fields?
No, Lawrence. I think
Could
Lawrence
you
is the
imagine
guy.
they don't go with him? I know it's not going to happen, but
No.
like everyone anticipates him being number one. He doesn't do his pro day.
If you look at the body of work of Trevor Lawrence, 3 years as a consistent starter, right? That one bad game, right? But the national title game against Alabama in his freshman season, right? Look at that. Look at his third year, that game against Ohio State, that defense blew that game for them. I think in terms of like you take into account the whole body of work from those top 5 quarterbacks in the draft class. Trevor Lawrence is your clear-cut number one.
Yeah,
in terms of overall body of work.
If you have to pick one of those
right?
guys, I see Trevor obviously is the guy to pick.
And the only way I see him busting is if the Jaguars bust it for him. So, like, do we consider, like, question for you guys.
I also don't think that's a good organization for him.
Do we consider Sam Darnold a bust right now at this point?
No.
Do we contribute it to the Jets being a
I
terrible
agree.
franchise?
Inclusive is
right.
good. Yeah.
So he's walking into a situation in Jacksonville that could be a very similar situation.
Very similar.
Lawrence
That's
could
my
walk
word.
in
So, does he propel them? I see him as similar. His comparison, Joe Burrow. Can he step into a franchise and like elevate that franchise, boost the ticket sales, like give fans something to
I think right off the bat, the fans are going to take to him. They're going to want to see him come out there. The jersey
not
is going to
necessarily
be a
make
top
them
seller.
a contender, but make them competitive. Maybe
I'm just
competitive to the point of like maybe possibly battling for a playoff spot.
But I mean, they've got a pretty solid division that they're in right now too. So
Good
I mean, Indy
division,
took some good steps
not a
forward,
fan
and now
of
they've got. They've got Wentz there, who could be a reclamation project, but is a pretty solid QB when he's on.
Indy and Tennessee are your two clear-cut favorites in
Tennessee,
that division.
obviously, we hate Tannenbaum, but you know what? They've got a solid team with a great defense. So, yeah, those are the top two guys that you have to overcome. So, can they make it as a second wild card team out of that division?
Jacksonville has those like little pieces here and there
They do.
that can make them successful.
They've got some
You
players.
saw what Robinson did last year.
James Robinson was awesome.
Their wide receiving core
There's
is still pretty
receivers,
solid.
Laviska Chenault, awesome.
I don't
They've
know
got,
about their offensive line though. I'm not too.
That's the one question
They
mark.
not
So,
have a QB coach yet,
and then they pretty
Do
much
they-
gutted their entire defense. So
do they have the O-line to protect Lawrence?
No.
Is a big question.
That's what I was just looking at. Not a good O-line.
The good news is, they pick Lawrence number one, and they get
Lawrence
another
is
pick at 33.
deceptively mobile though. Deceptively,
but seriously, do you want that guy running around like a chicken with his head cut off?
Again,
or,
counter-argument.
do you want to protect him?
Counter argument is Mahomes is very mobile. Very good
More
on the
mobile
run.
than him, yeah.
Very lethal threat on the run as well. And you saw how that Super Bowl looked. I don't know. I don't know.
Here's my gripe
I'm just
with
looking
Fields,
at it
though.
now. Like I
And
don't know if
especially
the coaching's
this past
there.
week with Justin Fields. It's been his draft stock has declined a lot, right? So if he's sitting there at 15, I absolutely will take him. No
I
doubt.
see Pats going to 10 or 8.
Right. So even if they trade up, when you trade up, you're probably I don't think you would be giving up that much.
So
right?
if they
If they trade up to 8,
especially with the Teddy Bridgewater trade today.
so
that was big.
Here's
That was
my
big 'cause now Denver's not
So
looking.
Denver's
at QB.
not on the board.
You would think that Denver's not looking for a QB there.
yeah. So my thought would be you traded Dallas. Dallas is going defense. Between 10 and 15, they're not going to lose anybody defensively, like a key role.
Right.
It's a very offensive first round this year. So you give them Gilmore, and then you give them 15. You move to 10. They move down to 15. They picked up a great corner. They need defensive help, and then they draft somebody defensively. It's the best of both worlds.
So Jacksonville and the Jets are taking a quarterback. San Fran's probably going to take a quarterback.
Yep. Carolina's talking about taking a quarterback
Atlanta
now.
at 4.
Yep. And
Atlanta
Atlanta's
at
going
4.
quarterback.
So you've got 4 gone there. And then you got Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit could be a threat.
No, they just paid big to get Goff. They just ate the world to get Goff. I don't see that
To
happening.
be a threat is what because if Goff isn't successful,
Yeah, I would see them drafting next year though. If they have a bad year, quarterback next year, trade up maybe.
Okay,
this
so-
year, the
all right,
amount
so
of
I'll
money,
give you Detroit.
the amount of money they
Detroit
invested,
probably
they got to
won't go that way.
get, they got to get personnel to help.
who's
You
Carolina
lost.
have at quarterback now?
They have Darnold, Sam Darnold.
They have Sam Darnold.
But
So
they're
Carolina's-
talking about getting a quarterback. So they're either going to get a quarterback or they're going to move down.
So where do you move? Where do you go?
They'd probably go 15 New England. That's who they're talking to.
Well, no. Where would New England go? Would they move up to 8?
They got to move up to 8 or 10.
8 or
So
10?
in this mock that I'm looking at right now, they have New England trading up to 7 from Detroit and drafting Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, really?
I think he's a better quarterback than Fields, but
Here's my problem with
So it's
Justin
going to be.
Fields.
So here's the other problem too. Not to cut you off, but San Fran came out today and said they have 4 potential people they're picking. So
of course
They're
they
going
do.
quarterback.
now Mac Jones
you don't make that trade for number 3 unless you're picking
It's
a
gotta be
quarterback.
QB. You don't
Yeah.
give up that much
There's no way.
capital unless you're going with a.
So is
position
it
like QB.
4 QBs
They're not
going
going to take like Kyle Pitts or an offensive
No
lineman
way, especially not with Kittle there.
or something like that.
And then the receiving
sitting
core
there.
with Ayuk
No
and
way.
Debo Samuel. I mean, why do you go with another
They
pass catcher there? It's got to be a QB there. And that's another thing. So if they go Mac Jones or they go Fields or they go Trey Lance there,
I feel like they got to go Jones.
does
with
Garoppolo become available for the Pats?
So they were saying is that's up in the air. Yeah, they came out and said that they don't have a set on what Garoppolo's going to be. But I feel like if you get Jones, you're going to want Garoppolo to coach him up. I mean, Garoppolo is still a great mind.
But Jones is like running a pro offense right now, so he could step in and run a pro offense, especially
Yeah.
the Shanahan offense.
But how How definitive is it that Justin Fields is dropping?
I mean, right
That's
now,
Well, the big issue with the
Because if
neurology.
Fields
you know my
sitting at
feeling. I feel like
15,
he's Haskins 2.0.
I'm
so.
good with Fields at 15. Depending on what capital we give up to move up in the draft at to 7 or 8.
If you move up in 10, I think it's only going to be Gilmore to Dallas.
I don't think Gilmore's going anywhere. I really
No,
don't.
I don't think he
At
really.
this point, I don't think he's going
I don't
anywhere.
think he is either. But I'm saying is if you're gonna move up to 8, you're giving up picks. Carolina's gonna want picks. If you move up to 10,
Probably future picks.
Yeah, if you move up to 10, Jerry Jones wants defense this year. You can give him, like I said, you can give him Gilmore. He needs corners as it is. You're gonna give him Gilmore, and he's gonna draft defensively. He already said he wants to draft defensively, and he needs it. So he's getting 2 defensive guys for 1 pick. That's a no-brainer in my mind. I mean, that buys you time next year. You structure a contract with Gilmore. He's happy down in Texas. He likes the South anyway. I mean, best of both worlds. But if you're going 8, you got to give up picks. You got to give up a
Don't rule
good
it out
amount.
because, Drew, I'm with you here. Don't rule it out if they trade up and take Micah Parsons. I wouldn't rule that out either.
Right?
I really wouldn't.
But they wouldn't
Best
trade up
middle
to they
linebacker
wouldn't-
in the draft?
They wouldn't trade up to like a 7 or an 8 to go with Parsons. I would think they might go up to like a 12 or 13 if he slides
I
down
think
that far.
Parsons is a top 10 pick, though.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But if Parsons is still there at 10 or 11 and they feel like they can move up to that spot, I think they would go with them, trade up to go with them because now they're not giving up a ton to get up to that next spot. But to go up to 7 or 8 or 4, as some teams are talking, some
That's a quarterback.
guys are talking about,
That's quarterback.
you're going up there to get a QB.
I mean, the Fields make sense to me. And so, why would you keep Newton to coach up Fields?
So
I mean,
here's-
I know everyone dogs Newton, whether his arm is shot or not. He's got a
bite the
great
bullet,
mind.
give San Francisco a conditional second-round pick, and bring Jimmy G back.
Well, that's the thing.
Because
Like,
Jimmy G is getting shopped. He's getting shopped.
I think they're thinking
It's going to
long-term.
happen.
can he go and get Jimmy G for a 3rd or 4th round
Jimmy
pick?
G will not
his-
be on the 49ers roster in week 1.
Well,
His
here's the
value
thing,
has
he
gone
won't.
way down at this
So
point.
the counter argument would be if they don't start him this year and they start Jones over him, then his value's even worse. So maybe you do get rid of him.
That's it. So
because if he gets into week 1, he's due his entire $25 million salary, which
this-
isn't going to happen.
this CBS mark,
He's not getting $25 million this year.
the CBS mark that I'm looking at right now, mock draft got Lawrence going 1, Zach Wilson going 2 to the Jets, Mac Jones going 3 to the Niners, Kyle Pitts going to Atlanta at 4, which is I think a pretty solid lock right there, unless they trade out of that spot.
Unless they go quarterback in that spot, too.
I don't think they go
a
QB
lot
there
of
because they're
rumor
talking
about
about
QB.
still hanging on to Matt Ryan.
But
They've
Matt-
got Sewell going on the O-line going to Cincinnati at 5. Chase, which I think is a mistake. I think Chase should go to Cincinnati there to reunite him with Burrow. But
No.
Chase going to Miami.
They have receivers, though.
Yes,
This is
They
true.
got young.
This
They
is
got
true.
a great young.
Grabbing a
core
solid
receivers.
O-lineman is probably
originally,
a more solid
originally
pick.
I saw Chase for Cincinnati, but they changed it saying that you got to protect Burrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
They're like,
I
we
mean,
got
look
enough
what happened to
weapons.
him last year.
Yeah, we got
you
enough
gotta protect
weapons.
him.
Yeah, we will go
So
shine.
plenty of weapons, and you go with the offensive line. That's probably
I like
smart.
that call.
And then number 7 with the trade from the Lions, Patriots picking Trey Lance. So they're predicting the Pats trade the 15th and the 46th overall, along with 2022 first rounder.
And a 2022 first rounder.
Yep. So
Oh my
so
God.
3 picks basically to get up to number 7, which sounds about right to get to jump 8 picks like that.
I don't know if you need to jump there though. I feel like
You don't need to give up this year's first round and next year's.
I
for
feel
that.
like this year you don't even need to trade up for a QB. There's so much talent coming in. I feel like at 15 you're going to get Lance or Fields. You're going to get whoever isn't grabbed.
Here's my problem with Fields. So first off, his freshman year. So he's the number 1 rated mobile quarterback in America coming out of high school. Right? Goes to Georgia. Commits to Georgia. Kirby Smart decides to start Jake Fromm over Justin Fields. Right? So Justin's like, oh, I'm not playing. I'm going to transfer. So if he's so good, why did he get beat out by Jake Fromm? Georgia's no
All
joke, and
people.
Georgia's no joke of a program. They've been national title contenders for the past 5-6 years.
Absolutely. They've been
so,
up there.
so what's up with that, right? So there's my question. There's my first question mark.
Kind of a different offensive scheme too, though. Two different
It's
guys.
a pro style offense.
Yeah,
it's a pro-style offense.
I mean, I guess the comparison would be trying to start like Tom Brady or Cam Newton in New England. At first, it's going to be Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to if you went to Carolina, it's Cam Newton over Brady kind of scheme.
But in college football, you cater your offense around that quarterback, especially if you get the number one recruit in America. Like, you cater your offense around that type of athlete, right? So that's number one. Number two, this past season, COVID, sure. Look at his games against top, your top teams, like top 10, top 20 teams. Northwestern, Indiana, Alabama. Look at those 3 games that Fields had. Like, 3 of his biggest games of this season. I get it. They only played, 9, 10, 11 games. I get it. But look at those 3 games and those bodies of work. And look at the game tape. And, I mean, in detail, he's got an arm. He's got arm strength. He can zip it in there. But his decision-making that he was making in college to fit throws in won't work in the pros.
Yeah.
It won't. That's my biggest question mark. And that's why I put Fields in my 4th or 5th. He's 4th or 5th.
I feel like
list.
Fields is, that what you said about lack of ability for decision-making. That's where Cam Newton comes in and fine-tunes that.
But I don't trust Cam Newton's decision-making either.
You got a guy.
I don't trust his decision, his ability to read a defense, especially after seeing what happened last year. He can't read a blitz.
I don't know.
But
I'm not high on Trey Lance. I'm just looking at his stats. I mean, you really got 1 year to go off. You got 2019 to go off. That's all you have.
Right.
Risky to pick an NFL.
Trey Lance has that ceiling though. He's got that. He's got that athletic ability.
You're talking 3 picks for this guy.
Right.
I don't know how you go here.
Right, but
I feel like your safe call is Fields.
You're paying for the ceiling, and no matter what.
I still feel like they take a defensive player at 15 and then they go with a second or third round pick.
I will be
at QB.
super upset if we trade back, because you're going to waste the season to go 7-9 to get the 15th pick in the draft, and you're just going to trade it away to move back.
I don't think Belichick lets him trade. Kraft lets him trade
I
back.
pray to God they don't,
because Kraft came out and said we haven't drafted good in the last few years. So I mean, that's a dig right at Belichick. Who else he's drafting? So, and from what I heard too, this is the first year where the scouts have had a big impact on the draft. So it might be a pretty good draft. Usually the scouts said, we show up, we tell them what we think, and then he basically says pound sand. This is the first year where they're actually have involvement. So it might be a better year. But on that note, we're gonna get this break. I'm gonna roll it out of the way here. We'll be back. 508-222-1320.
Bye. No way.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Black and yellow. What's this? Bruins broadcast all of a sudden? What's going on? Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't see the Pats trading up to 4. We're just talking off the air about that. I don't see that happening. Maybe 7, maybe 8. I don't know. I mean, they don't have a lot of teams in front of them at this point. Top 3 picks are all QBs, so it's probably going to be Lawrence, Wilson, Mac Jones to the San Fran.
What's crazy to me too is there's 12 hours ago, Eagles talking about trading up for Fields too. You got a guy. You booted Wentz for that guy.
For Jalen Hurts? Sold on Hurts? Are they still unsure about Jalen Hurts?
Didn't the Eagles trade down though?
So, because the Eagles are getting back in the
traded
day,
down, loaded up, then they could trade
back
back
in the
up.
day, they traded Sam Bradford to Minnesota when Bridgewater broke his leg, and they got a conditional first-round pick for him. They're doing the same thing with Wentz and Indy too.
Yeah.
So if they draft a quarterback along with Hurts, they've got 2 pieces of ammunition they could trade away and get another conditional pick back. Philly's doing it the right way.
And I think Hurts is going to be a stud for him, to be honest. I think he's going to be good. And they got a lot of good pieces in there. Like Jalen Rager's a stud receiver they brought in last year. So we'll see what
Rager's got
happens
to
then.
develop. But I still think
He's
Philly
got a lot of raw talent.
Philly still needs another receiver, I think.
We still haven't seen the ball drop on Zach Ertz yet, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's still under contract in Philly.
There's a bunch going on today at the
Yeah, we're
draft.
going to see some stuff happening with him probably.
Lions tried to trade to 4 too. Who do they want at 4?
Who wouldn't they want it for?
There's a lot of
bring some weapons in there for Goff.
team. They need a receiver.
Draft the
They could
receiver,
get Jamar
get
Chase at 4.
Well, so that was the thing. So Falcons' 4 predictions are Pitts, Fields, Lance, and Jamar Chase. Those are the 4 projections.
I feel like
I'm looking at it right
I feel like
now.
Detroit.
I feel like Jones is gone. I feel like Julio's getting traded after June to save him that $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Detroit could stand pat at 7 and still get like Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith if he doesn't go.
Oh yeah. I don't see them going. I don't see them going. They're probably not going to go till later in the first.
Okay, so
Right. So like this mock has them going 15th to Detroit. Devontae Smith.
So what do you want the Patriots to do in the draft, and what do you think will happen in the draft?
So I'm still sold on the idea that the Bill Belichick machine keeps rolling forward, and he does,
So what do you want
he does
to happen,
his thing,
Drew?
and we see him reach at at number 15 for Christian Barmore, but that's just me because he does things that you don't see coming.
Is that what you want
No, I'd rather see him grab a quarterback there.
at 15?
At 15 or trade up to 7 or 8 and grab a QB there. Of course, that's what we
what
want to
you
see.
want.
Because
Okay.
that's the flashy thing. That's the exciting, put fans in the stands, put butts in the seats, move.
But what do you think will happen?
I really think he trades back from 15
Oh God, I
and
hate
he drafts Christian Barmore. I'm telling you, that's a
I hate
Belichick
that.
guy.
I hate that so
Defensive
much.
lineman from Bama. I'm telling you, that's a has Bill Belichick written
Right.
all over
That
it.
might be the day when I sell all my Pats
Right?
gear.
Like,
buy
like
Tampa
think
gear.
about the Sony Michel draft when he drafted Michel and he drafted
Isaiah Wynn.
See, but
Wynn.
I feel like
like
those
2 guys that we didn't think anything about, and that boom, he goes
Isaiah
and grabs
Wynn.
those 2 guys.
I saw that coming.
I feel like those drafts were the ones where mom gives you the keys of the car and by yourself and you're tearing the thing down a back road. I mean, now at this point, mom's sitting in the passenger seat, Kraft's here watching them.
Well,
I don't know.
What I will say is, when have we ever seen them act the way they did in free agency? We haven't. In 20 years, they've
so
never
you
spent
can
like
probably
they did.
expect the unexpected.
So can we
tomorrow night.
expect them to be more in line with a traditional, hey, we need this, so we're going to draft this kind of a
I
team?
think so.
Because we haven't seen that in the past.
There's no way
Look
Kraft.
at 2 years ago where they needed a tight end. They drafted no tight ends. We sat in here. We're like, it's going to be a tight end. We're going to get a tight end. They got to get a tight end. They drafted nobody. Then last year we were backing off on the tight end thing. They draft 2 tight ends, and we're like, well, all right, okay, whatever. And, they also drafted a kicker in the 5th round, but whatever. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. Like, Belichick drafts a kicker in the 5th round. Like, he does stupid, crazy Belichick things. So do I think there's a chance that they trade back from 15 and they get a guy like Barmore? Yeah, absolutely I do. That's not what I want,
That's what you think will happen.
but that's what I think will happen. I
So
still
what do
feel
you-
like, hot take, I feel like that's what's going to happen.
So, Nick, what do you want to happen, and what do you think will happen?
I want Fields, and I think they're going to get Fields.
At 15?
Probably 15. They might move up. I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to know for sure they'll get him at 15. If they don't get him, then maybe, I don't know who else they go with. But I feel like Kraft didn't open the checkbook to have, terrible future with quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. If Newton comes out this year and sucks, whatever the case may be, if he sucks again, then, Kraft's going to be pissed that he opened that checkbook with no future in mind. Mm-hmm. If you have Fields behind Newton, you have an year, you say, well, we got Fields next year. That's what we wanted. Now we got a better pick again next year, get another weapon for Fields or whatever. Right. But, I mean, you got a young, very talented offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. It's the best time to get a young quarterback back there. Right. I think even early next season, you get a young quarterback, a mobile one. I mean, with an offensive line like that and the run game that we have, it's a killer offense.
Right. Not to change the subject, but what a great grab for the Broncos for a 6th-round pick. They get Teddy Bridgewater.
I would have done that. I would have easily done that.
Bridgewater came in
a heartbeat. That's
and
an
played
easy,
great
that's an
for the
easy
Saints.
decision.
And then
that's an upgrade. That's an automatic
strong
upgrade.
for the Panthers last year, and now they bring him in for a 6th-rounder. And you know what? Let him fight over it with Drew Lock. See who's going to be the guy. I love it. And all the offensive weapons that they have there with Sutton coming back.
This is where I wish Tim was in
Tim
here.
Patrick.
This is where I wish
Noah
Tim was in
Fant.
Because
my
Tim's
guy
big on
Jerry
Cam.
Jeudy. Damn. They got some weapons down there.
You know what I want to happen? I want to trade for Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
I want to give him. I want. So hear me out. This is what I want to happen. You trade for Garoppolo. You give him like a conditional second for next year, and give him Cam Newton. Trade Cam and a conditional second.
I don't know if they want Cam Newton
for Jimmy G. Restructure his contract. Maybe San Fran eats some of that salary.
I think that's more realistic than them getting a pick in the top 10. They're grabbing a quarterback in the top 10.
So you trade for Garoppolo, bring him back home, because you sit at 15, and you take whichever guy falls, either Fields or Lance.
I don't think they take
one of those two guys is going to fall.
If they do, I think you take one of those guys. If not, I think they take a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round and they try to develop him like they did with Jimmy G.
I wouldn't mind taking Kyle Trask in the 2nd or 3rd round either.
With
sitting behind Garoppolo, if Garoppolo can give you...
Because Garoppolo's good for another 2 or 3 years.
Right. And you have...
Maybe, and you know he's going to get hurt.
Him. Yeah.
But I feel like you've gotten away from the Garoppolo offense.
But if you can bring Cam back...
But Garoppolo knows...
In case Garoppolo gets hurt.
Yeah, but
you bring in a rookie guy that you can develop, now you got something.
You're developing a KC offense, though. You are. You got dynamic run game. You went and picked out 2 deadly tight ends. I mean,
you can't have KC offense when your quarterback can't throw the ball.
So that's but that is my But imagine Garoppolo in KC. I mean, it didn't work. I mean, you had Alex Smith, or even after. I mean,
in San Fran.
In KC, I'm saying. So, when you had a stand-in quarterback, that offense didn't work.
Oh, my goodness.
When you
Did I just read this right?
When you put
news. Can I get the breaking news button?
Oh, yeah?
Breaking news. 14 minutes ago, this was tweeted by Dale Arnold.
Who's Dale Arnold?
Dale Arnold from formerly of WEI. I've been told that by a reliable source, Patriots are working on a new contract for Jimmy G that could lead to a deal with the 49ers. Same source who correctly told me Tom Brady had signed with the Bucks. Doesn't mean it'll get done, but they're working on it.
Now
we're cooking with charcoal. There you go.
Now we're cooking with charcoal.
Do that day.
I don't know.
Look out, Dale Arnold. Come on now.
Now we're cooking with charcoal, boys. Yeah.
Look, I like the idea of bringing Jimmy G back if he can stay healthy and play 16 games.
Problem with Jimmy G is he's only going to be as good as that line.
Well, but the line's pretty solid. You're the
San
one that's
Fran
been talking
No.
about the
So
line.
what I was going to say, you kind of coming off as long as the line lasts. So if you can afford them for 2-3 years, but I mean
San Fran couldn't protect him.
Yeah,
and Bill's already and Patriots scouting and personnel has said that we had our guy in Jimmy G. We let him go. We would have easily protected him more than what he was protected in San Francisco. So I don't know. I like Jimmy G. I still like Jimmy G because I think you can get him for a good price, and you can still draft a quarterback in the first 3 rounds.
It seems like a asterisk backwards thing to do. Like you get rid of him.
Yeah.
You get rid of him. You get rid of him. You let Brady run. You got a hiatus year. Then you bring him back for the same thing you let him go for.
It was kind of because of Brady that we let him go.
Yeah, but you bring him back after he's been exposed to be fragile. Now you're bringing him back for the same thing you got for him. Like, I could see maybe you give him
it's perfect.
Give him a third-round pick. At least you got a second out of it. You bumped around.
Oh, yeah, I don't see them giving him a second.
A
I don't think there's any value right now for Jimmy because everybody knows they're picking a QB at 3 out there in San Fran, and Jimmy G's expendable.
That's why you give him a conditional pick, an incentive-based pick. So if Jimmy G performs, San Fran gets a better draft pick.
They get a good pick out of it. I love
and
it.
I'm okay with that.
Make it tied into games played.
And if he gets hurt, they get a third or a fourth rounder instead of a second rounder. That's all.
Tie it all together. And
That's all it is.
Restructure that contract, and boom.
Plus, like,
and then you draft your
his
guy.
His value is good.
And you bring him along like they did with Mahomes. Like
the time to get Jimmy G is now. So, like, rewind the tape, right? We drafted Rob Gronkowski in the second round because of what? He had injury problems at Arizona. Yeah. We drafted Malcolm Mitchell in the third round because of what? Injury problems. Those two guys don't have injury problems. They're top 10 picks. So Bill drafted those guys. They were successful here. Malcolm Mitchell had a solid run until he got hurt again.
But he did have injury problems.
But all the way.
Flip the script. You got the same situation, same logic with Jimmy G. Except he's an NFL player. So his value is good right now.
I feel like even if they get Jimmy G, they're still drafting quarterback. I feel like there
isn't
enough.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
At 15, though, not
then
going
they'll carry
around
3
two.
QBs. They'll have Jimmy. They'll have Cam, and then they'll be gone.
Even if they work out something for a trade for Jimmy G, you still have the capital and the assets to trade up and get a quarterback in the first round. You still have that ability.
I think it's more likely that Stidham would go to San Fran as part of a package for Jimmy G than Cam would. I know you'd love to get rid of Cam, but who wouldn't?
No, I just want to see anyone behind center other than Cam.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I love Cam as a leader and as a person.
I have a pinched nerve. I can still throw better than Cam right now.
Cam surprised me with his integrity and his leadership and his personality.
Oh,
the way
absolutely.
He's able to lead. But
as a leader in the locker room, he's the guy.
He hasn't consistently performed
But
since
as a leader, you also have to perform.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of like the Kemba Walker thing, like all year we were talking about, hey, Kemba's
Please
a leader,
don't get me started on
he's
the
a veteran,
Celtics
and
right now.
yabba dabba doo. No, I'm just giving
Please
it
don't.
as a comparison. So, yada yada, blah, 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 but he wasn't
You know how bad this, all you need to know, you know how bad the Celtics are? They lost to the Thunder last night.
Dude, the Thunder, who had lost like 14 in a row.
14 in a row.
And who?
Now, granted, they didn't have my boy Robbie Williams. They didn't have Tatum, but I mean, come on.
Besides the point, there's a bunch of no names on
the
OKC.
Three of us. We go pick up Tim and just any scrub, literally, that's hanging on the streets in Attleboro right now, and we could beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Literally. Yeah. And I have a pinched nerve.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. So that's enough of the Celtics. That's enough about the Celtics.
Well, the better time now is we got a break to take.
Hey, let's take that break, Nick.
508-222-1320. Call in.
How about that UFC card this past weekend?
We'll get to that, too.
About that.
Don't you worry. Lots to talk about. Stick around.
We made some money.
Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio. So, tons of stuff happening. This is an interesting draft. One of the most interesting drafts that we've had in some years.
So I think we're all sold on the idea that they're either going to grab a QB in that first round or they're going to go with the defensive pick, right? They're not going to trade down and grab a wide receiver or running back and something silly like that.
Yeah, I feel like you could.
What else do they go for in those next few picks? I don't have it up, but I'm going to bring it up and see where the rest of their picks fall.
46 is the next, I believe, mid-second round.
Yep.
What else can we see from the Pats in the latter rounds? That's what I'm curious. Like, what else do they go after? What else do they need?
Linebacker.
Are we? Yes, I was going to say. So, are we sold on their wide receiver group now?
No, because
Harry's still a big, huge question mark.
Yeah, and then
I'm not going to throw that out either.
Who knows what's going to happen with Bourne?
Edelman, which they expected.
I don't rule out them taking a wide receiver in the first round either, guys. I don't rule it out.
Really?
Especially
who's there, though?
Devontae Smith could be there.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'd love to see Devontae
They could
Smith
trade
on
up
this
for
team.
him.
He's
They could
their kind of
easily
guy
trade up for him.
because he's a small guy they can stick in the slot
He's
and they
not
can
small.
do whatever.
He's not small.
They can do
Everyone doesn't
whatever.
get that right. He's not okay. He's small in terms of weight. He's 185,
Right.
but he's 6'1",
Right.
and he's got 4.3 speed,
It's crazy speed.
and he's got one of the best route running in college football.
Like his route tree is
You know his
ridiculous.
comparison? Antonio Brown.
Yeah, all day.
That's his comparison.
He's nasty.
Jalen Waddle. I'd take him at 15.
Let's grab him. But they're not going to go there. They're going to go defense.
I'm just saying, don't rule
But
it out.
you know why? Because we would all love that flashy pick.
I would love Devontae Smith,
Dude, Devontae Smith is nasty.
but you need a quarterback for Devontae Smith. You know, Devontae
Yeah,
Smith would be a great piece for Jimmy G.
But they're going to get Jimmy G. Exactly.
It would be a great piece for Jimmy
You get
G.
Jimmy G. You get Devontae Smith.
You don't get
there.
Devontae Smith for Cam Newton. You
Trade
get him
Harry.
for Jimmy G.
Right, exactly. But that's all going to be about that. So that's it. Then if they go get Jimmy G, now Devontae Smith becomes. I can see that happening. I can see a receiver at 15 coming into play.
Oh man,
Absolutely. All right.
like he played 3 less games this year. He won the Heisman, and he had 1,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 120 catches in 11 games, guys. I mean,
it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So they have Aguilar, obviously. You know, he's a deep threat. They've got Bourne.
you don't have like a guy that
They
can,
don't have as many picks as I thought they did. So
You don't have a stud, you know.
Yeah.
they've got a lot of picks, just not a lot of high picks. So they're at 15. They're at 46. They're at 96.
Yeah, I mean, they control the fourth round.
Then they have 3 in the 4th round: 120, 122, 139. A 5th rounder, 2 in the 6th, and then the last pick in a pick in their last pick is in the 7th at 242.
I feel like they're going to go offense first, too, and then just dump defense down our throat. I mean, 3 fourth round defensive picks aren't terrible.
Oh heck no!
And it's a heavy draft year. I feel like there's going to be plenty of talent left. The question is who and where. I'm definitely going to want to get a linebacker.
You think they're set at corner?
Who the
Depends
Pats?
on what they're thinking.
Absolutely.
Depends what they're thinking with Gilmore.
They got depth. They're fine.
It depends
they're
what they
good
think
there.
with Gilmore.
They're fine.
You're going to have to get a safety. I mean,
Are
you
you?
bought one. Nah, well,
I mean, you got Duggar and Devin still.
yeah, but you're
and
gonna
then,
have to think McCourty replacements. You probably
So they go for a guy like the FSU senior Hassam Nasirildin. I don't know how to say his name, but he's a monster. 6'4",
I could see a
220.
defensive stud at
Out of
46. At 46, you maybe get a wide receiver 3rd round, 30 at 96. Back to defense. I don't know.
That's a very small edge rusher in Ronnie Perkins.
A lot of people are saying the lead wide receiver from Clemson in round 2, Amari Rogers. He's sitting there.
Nice.
I feel like they got to get a wide receiver.
He's
I don't know.
He's okay. He's like a.
But do they though?
I
He's
feel
like a Jerry
I
Jeudy
feel
type
like
of
they
guy.
don't have that standout guy.
No, receiver. No, you definitely don't.
I'm just
I
thinking
feel like they expected
they've
to
got
lose
Smith
Edelman,
and they've
but-
got Hunter Henry. Like, how many more pass catchers do they need? You know, they've got.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
God bless you. COVID.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, they've got White coming out of the backfield still. He's good for 60 grabs a year. I mean, you know, if it is Cam throwing in the ball, like, how many more weapons do you need to give him? I don't know. I don't know if they have to go
As
there.
many as it takes.
I don't know if they have to go there. I really feel like it's going to be a QB, maybe a wide receiver, and then a lot of defensive picks, and maybe an offensive line guy here and there, like a couple of guys to fill in.
That. I mean, they've been picking,
well, just guys
like
up. late,
yeah.
You know what I mean. And then you're gonna be getting like a lot of special teams superstars.
Because we just picked up like 2 more offensive linemen on through the free agency, and I mean,
I think there's some depth at offensive line, so they might not even draft one.
I mean,
until
I feel
5,
he always
6,
slips
7.
one in, but I think you're going to see a D lineman for sure. You're going to see a linebacker for sure. You're going to see a quarterback. From there, I mean, I feel like it's just going to be fill-in defense or anybody that sticks out. Maybe a special teams weapon because Bill likes special teams.
Yeah, special teams.
You're gonna lose the McCourties. At least next year, you probably won't have Devin back, so you're gonna have them off special teams. You're gonna fill those voids. Maybe you look at a kicker in the 6th, 7th round.
I've never been more excited for an NFL draft in my life.
That's what
I'm
I
not
was
gonna
thinking.
lie.
That's what I was saying to Drew. I was like, I love this year.
This is a much different scenario than we've been in the past 21 years, boys. This
really
is interesting.
It really is.
This is very interesting.
It's a wild west shootout right now for the Pats because
no matter what quarterback we take, though, he's
totally
not
different.
playing in year one. He's not playing in year one.
Yeah, I mean,
I guarantee it.
Unless somehow, some way, the guy comes into camp and just blows him away.
Even the greatest quarterback of all time had to sit out for a year. You know what I mean? Like
the GOAT.
Yeah.
Sat behind Bledsoe.
Unknowingly go.
Right.
I think if they knew Brady was going to be what he was when they drafted him, he would be playing right away.
Right.
But I mean, it's a testament to the Packers, too. Because when they drafted Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre was still performing.
Oh, yeah.
And was still consistent,
he was still a top guy.
And Aaron Rodgers was one of those guys that slipped, and he fell in the draft.
Because he should have went... I think still say the Niners should have grabbed him when they got Smith at the top of the draft.
Exactly.
Now, is the Kyle...
Smith was number 1.
Not Kyle. Is the Jordan Love thing dead to New England now? Or is it still going?
Jordan Love
to New England?
No. The Packers are doing with Jordan Love what they did with Brett Favre and Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
The problem with
Rodgers
Jordan,
sat up for 3 or 4 years?
The problem with Jordan Love, though, is the Packers fan base doesn't like him.
Right.
It's like a bad move.
No, they don't like him because they should have drafted a weapon for Rodgers.
Yeah.
Will they like him if he comes in a few years? It's similar to what he's saying right here about Aaron Rodgers coming in when they should have been drafting weapons for Favre.
So the year that they drafted Aaron Rodgers, the year that Brett Favre left, that year before, the Packers win the NFC Championship game.
Right.
And then they let Brett Favre walk, and they bring Rodgers in.
Yep.
Right? They're going to do that. They're doing that. Rodgers is 39 now. He's going to turn 39, I think, in September. Right? So they're doing that same exact thing with Jordan Love.
It's the same blueprint.
Exact
same
thing.
blueprint.
The same thing.
And you think about the blueprint there. You think about the Mahomes blueprint where he sat, and now he came in and he's doing well. It's the same thing. When you get a guy like that you can bring in, the worst thing you can
only sat for a year,
right? But the worst thing you can do is throw a guy into the fire. Like Joe Burrow. They throw him in there. I mean, they didn't really have any other options, and obviously
protect him.
He was the best. But he gets hurt, and he's taking all his bumps that first year. Even if he doesn't get hurt and season-ending injury, you're still taking a lot of bumps and bruises, and you're not really developing. You're out there and you're running for your life. You don't want to do that to your guy that's going to be the next guy. So, like to your point, Brady sat behind Bledsoe for a year, and then, something crazy, catastrophic happened, and that's how he got his chance. But he was still moving up the depth chart at that point. So it probably wasn't going to be long until he started pushing Bledsoe for that starting position. But obviously, we all know what happened there, and the injury is what gave him his opportunity. So I just don't see the Pats going that same route now with another QB. But back to the Green Bay thing. Yeah, Jordan Love, they're doing the same exact thing. Same exact thing they did with Rodgers. Let him sit, get him get seasoned, sit behind him for a year, sit behind him for 2 years, whatever. They're talking to Rodgers right now about what his next thing is. Who knows? Aaron Rodgers might be the host of Jeopardy by next year. It's possible. Who knows? Maybe he just decides to say, the heck with it. I'm going to go and be the next Alex Trebek.
Because I know there was talk of Jordan Love getting wheeled and dealed out of there. So that's what made me. I
think it's great that they have a succession plan. If he's the succession plan.
What do you think your boys are doing at 29, man?
I hope to God they get some kind of a weapon for my boy Rodgers. But you know what? Who knows? I mean, it's been a little weird the last few years they've gone askew.
There was like a slight little talk from a Green Bay writer that said that they're looking to trade with New England to move up to 15, and New England moves back to 29.
I can see that happening, and then New England takes Christian Barmore, that defensive lineman that I've been talking about from Bama,
and you take like Jalen Waddle,
and you take a receiver. Exactly, you get Waddle, or if Smith is still there, you got Smith. Because man, would he look nice with Adams? It's man, I don't even want to think about it. That'd be insane. I'm getting excited. I'm getting all bubbly.
On that note, top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. We come back. I want to talk about KC, their future, what they're doing. So don't go anywhere. 508-222-1320. We'll be back.
Yer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
MVP. Sports Talk Radio. Live.
All right. Are you going to rant about KC right now?
I'm not really going to rant. I just curious what you guys think about their moves. I mean, kind of trading away their even last hope of a future for an offensive line. I mean, like, are they just pushing for like a 3-year run?
They
and
need
that's all they
offensive
got?
line depth for sure. And
Well, they did just trade for a beast from the Ravens.
I did some studying too.
You did?
Yeah, so
thought
I did some
I
reading.
thought you ball players didn't have to do
I
any
don't.
of that.
I know. Yeah, right. So, like, I was studying up on how you can manipulate the salary cap with contracts. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. You can, especially with voided years in the future. Sure, you got to worry about dead money in the future, which you can manipulate again once that time comes. But if you need to meet the cap
The
for
problem
that
is
year,
they run into like Patriot
you can make it work.
I love that I put my shirt on inside out so that you wouldn't see the Best Buy logo,
know.
and then the cameras reverse it so you can read the Best Buy. Sorry. Oh, everybody, I work for Best Buy.
Yikes.
That's funny.
So, but like with these voided years, and okay, so Jimmy G, right? $25 million. We're not obviously gonna pay him $25 million as a base salary this year, right? So here's what we're gonna do, Jimmy. We're gonna restructure your contract. We're gonna give you a base salary this year of $2 million. We're gonna give you a signing bonus of 15. So your cap hit's only like 1.75.
Right.
Brady's
It's all manipulation, man.
Brady's been doing it for years, for a decade. Who else did it? Taysom Hill signed that type of contract this offseason. There's another. Drew Brees has done it. Like, it's a normal thing now to where you can manipulate the cap to make it work. And I think that's what Kansas City's doing.
They got 6 picks.
And they've probably got voided years in like the next 3 or 4 years down the road. So they've got a lot of dead money that they're going to have to handle in the next 3 or 4 years. And when that time comes, that's when it'll be talked about. But for right now, they're doing it the right way.
No, I mean,
For
they're definitely
now,
going about it the right way.
To keep
but
it sustainable for at least another 2 or 3 years.
So that's exactly my point. Is, I mean, you now have a 3-year run, realistically. I mean, you don't have much more after that. You're gonna run into dead money. You're gonna run into trying to get a lot of these guys back you can't afford. If you win another, it's even harder at that point.
And it's going to be difficult to keep Mahomes healthy for 5, 7, 10 years. He's the kind of guy that's going to run all over the field and may run into an injury.
I thought about it more, and I know I hated on them strong last year. I think their season finish is exactly really what I thought it would be. I mean, you gave up so many guys in order to justify your spending, and like you couldn't, last year's draft prediction, we were going over it. They needed an offensive line there. They didn't draft. You stuck with veterans. You didn't draft backup. And then you run into moving guards to tackle.
How big of a change would that Super Bowl be if Kansas City had a healthy offensive line? That's like,
I don't know if they win.
That's in the back of your mind.
It's a close game.
It's a closer game, right? So I don't know, man. Because Mahomes was running for his life that entire game.
Yep.
We both know it. We all know that.
Yeah, I mean,
time.
It also helped that you shut down the receivers. I mean, Tampa Bay had the film; they had the numbers. I think KC played a lot of their good plays all year. That's their problem. The counter would be New England. They always have that hidden play. KC really dumped their playbook out all year to go to the wins they did. I feel like when they got to the Super Bowl, they didn't have any flair.
They didn't have anything in reserve. It was like, hey, here's what we do.
Yep.
So
and Tampa showed up, and they're
it.
like, here's our flair.
They never had time to throw.
And Tampa was like, we know how to stop what you do, so here's what we're going to do.
Exactly. No, I mean, all the power to him. It just made me laugh, and like, it's not as much hating on KC. I don't really have like a vendetta for him. I just thought they're stupid with money management, but it kind of makes me laugh because you see Mahomes on the internet like, oh, let's see where I'm at in 10 years. You know what I mean? Going back and forth with Brady. And I'm like, dude, I think you have 3 years left of like a solid, formidable team. And then it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be New Orleans. They're going to pull into what New Orleans did. And, you're going to have begging for all these different handouts and restructures. You got some teammates who don't want them. Tyreek Hill, I'm not restructuring. I get paid what I get paid. And that's a team leader. That attitude's going to roll down. And if they're not winning, you're there to win or make money. So if you signed up after the bowl, or even if you were there for the bowl and you're not winning anymore, you're not taking pay cuts. It's easy for Tampa to do pay cuts because they just won, and now Brady's probably telling them, "Hey, look, this is what we did in New England. We can win 3 bowls. We can win 4 bowls. Like, guys, we can do this."
Absolutely.
And they're like, "I'm in."
Let's go.
But
Yeah,
what are you saying,
AD
KC?
just re-signed, right, for like a year, $3 million.
Yep.
So he's
Yeah, they were signed all 22 starters. Unheard of.
So silly.
It's the Brady
so
effect.
silly.
But now you're in KC and you're like, hey, we just gave up our future for offensive line that we should have got last year. Stick around. We can win. Don't worry about Tyreek Hill not wanting to pay cut. I don't know. I mean, you got...
Kansas City will go O-line at 31 probably.
They don't have 31.
They don't?
It's gone.
They traded it. Yeah.
Yeah, they have... The best picks they have is 58 and 63. And then they go to the fourth round. They don't have third.
Yikes.
So, I mean, you could probably get...
Essentially, they did trade...
How'd they lose their first round pick?
They traded
lineman.
it for the lineman, for Brown.
Yeah, and more.
From the Ravens.
And future picks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially they did go in at 31 on a lineman. They just got a veteran, known talent as opposed to going into the draft.
Which
Right.
I don't hate the move, but I just worry about you have... So they have 56, 63. Then they jump to the fourth round at 144. So the end of the fourth round. And then you have 2/5 and a 6. So it's like...
They don't have a lot to work
you
with
have,
there.
I mean, fourth round's iffy on talent. I mean, 2 second-round picks is better than, I guess, a second and a third. But it's like you're really going to have to hope that you got talent there. You got maybe a lineman and maybe an offensive
They
threat.
have 2 in the second?
Yeah, so they have
So that's not
58
too
and
bad.
63. But, I mean, you need a lot of roles. I mean, you might need just an extra.
They could go corner there. Definitely offensive line is like probably
Yeah,
your
they're gonna
biggest
go-
need just to have that depth.
Yep.
Especially after what happened last year. Corner's really deep this year in terms of talent. It's very, very deep. They only got one cornerback
But I
going
feel
in the
like
first
they're
round,
gonna-
and that's the guy out of Bama,
they're-
Surtain.
They're going to need a wide receiver, too. I mean, you lost Watkins. You lost Robinson.
Allen Robinson's gone too?
DeMarcus
Or
Robinson.
DeMarcus? Okay.
And then
But they still have Hardman, right?
still have Hardman.
Oh, yeah, Mecole.
Byron
The guy.
Pringle. Byron Pringle hits free agency in 22. So, I mean, what do you have for money there? Tyreek doesn't restructure. You know, you might have to start thinking wide receiver, too. And mock draft mock draft has them getting a guard in the fourth round. Has them going cornerback, wide receiver, guard, safety, guard, linebacker. I mean, I don't know. A fourth and a fifth round guard. I feel like I would go second round on a lineman. If they cheap out on lineman again, they're in the same boat. I don't know.
I mean, they did bring in some guys, so hopefully that'll solidify them. And then the dude that was hurt for the bowl will be back, right?
Uh-huh.
So
And then they'll bring
him back.
they'll bring back trying to brain fart here.
Scooby Doo.
Running back that opted out.
Damian Williams.
Yeah, so they have Williams. What they do with him, I don't know. Keep him, deal him, I don't know.
Is Damian?
But he
I think
hits.
they released him. I'm almost positive they released him. I thought
Would have
I
been
heard.
the smarter move because I don't know how you afford to pay his salary too. And they're gonna. I also got to look up that lineman's salary position and how that looks. So while we're taking this break, we'll look up this stuff and we'll be back. 508.
Yeah.
222.
Damian Williams is with the Bears now.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
he's gone.
So he's out.
Well, if you want to buy his stuff, I have 2 of his items.
Come on.
It's from KC though. If wish you didn't opt out, but on that note, 508-222-1320. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio,
Wasted on
WARA
you.
Studios. So coming back into KC a little bit, I guess, kind of just finishing that up. Yeah, so I don't know. Again, just my curiosity. So I would say about 3 years on them. Would you guys agree?
I give you 3.
3, and I don't know if I see a formidable push. A lot of teams are building up. It's gonna be hard for them to stay competitive. I feel like
the only team
even with the
I can see in
offensive
that
line,
division,
I feel like they were exposed.
The only team I can see in that division pushing them is the Chargers. It's the only team I can see pushing them.
If they could put some pieces together and
with proper coaching.
let Herbert just
I want to be
sling
the
the ball
coach over
everywhere.
there. Can I go? Can some team just give me a shot?
I would love that. That coaching position in LA, pristine.
Like you have a good team, and
like you could
Anthony
kinda,
Lynn is just a meatball.
Like, how do you feel about the Raiders? Like the Raiders are just like,
I don't know. I mean, they got Gruden there. You think
You know?
that they would be able to put it together, but they just can't seem to draft. Ruggs seems like he's going to be okay.
Ruggs was hurt last year.
Beat
for
up a little bit
good
for
bit.
a good portion of the year. Carr is still Carr. I'd say
Josh
he's a
Jacobs
top
kind of tailed
50.
off like in the last half
Jacobs
of the
got
season.
beat up a lot, man. They handed him the ball a lot the year before, and then last year they just tried to keep doing the same thing.
And plus they
they've
tried to
got to
build
get
up the
somebody
yellow-
better in there to spell him a little bit more and keep his carries down.
I think their problem
Is defense.
defense.
Their defense is garbage.
Defense, and
Yeah,
I
they
don't
can't stop
think
anything.
Carr is the right fit. Not saying he's a bad quarterback.
I think he's a good
They need a
quarterback.
mobile guy. They need a Fields
A more
or like a
mobile
Trevor
guy.
Lawrence.
Where are they picking?
Mid,
Good question.
They're probably like 17, 18, right?
Yep.
Let's see here.
Maybe even 19.
Vegas is picking 17th,
Okay.
and
What are they projected to get?
their projection on this mock draft is Kwity Paye,
Who's that?
edge rusher from Michigan.
Yeah, it better be defense.
Yeah, that's a good grab. If they can get him at 17,
Yeah, that's a good
he
one.
might be the best defensive player in the draft.
And
If
they'll
he-
get him there. I don't see
if they
anyone
can
else
get him
going there.
That's a solid pick for them. That's a big win if they can do that. He ain't no Khalil Mack, but he'll come in there and put some pressure on a quarterback.
Yeah,
on the
and they
outside.
got a tough schedule of like playing heavy defenses. You got to counter good pass rush with good pass rush.
I'd trade.
Like, you can't get rushed all game and not show up with the pass rush. Like it's just,
No, because
I'm just
then
throwing
it's
it.
you're toast.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'd trade 15 for Derek Carr.
No,
no.
I might trade 15.
he's
for
got
Derek
so
Carr.
many. He's got so many weapons in and out
He's
of there. He
27.
can't figure it out.
He is 27.
He's still young.
He's still young.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I don't think he fits here or there.
I was just throwing
he's a
it out
good-
there. I was just throwing it out
He's
there.
good for Atlanta or San Fran. Stand
I
in
was
the
just throwing
pocket
it
and
out there.
throw.
I was just throwing
Problem
it out
is Gruden doesn't know how to coach stand. in the
San
pocket.
Fran needs a mobile quarterback too. Well, somewhat mobile, because they move the pocket a lot. A lot. They do a ton of play action, ton of rollouts, tons.
Yeah, but why? They have to. They don't have an offensive line.
Exactly.
You get offensive line, you get Derek Carr, you got a good team. That's I don't know.
You just got to get some defense over
I just
there.
think that like
This should be a completely defensive draft.
Vegas to
like
me
last year,
is
they
like-
got Ruggs, they got Brian Edwards. They went heavy offense, and they didn't really
Yeah.
do anything because they had no defense. So they were just
I
playing
mean
catch up all the time.
you lost to the Pats. You lost to the Pats.
Pats of all teams.
Who's your? The Raiders did.
rough? Yeah.
Yeah, lost to the Pats.
No, the Raiders beat us.
No, they didn't.
What?
Did
Let's
they?
double check that. I
They
thought
lost
the
to the
Raiders. I
Pats.
thought the Raiders lost to the
Did
Pats.
they?
Double check it.
Yeah, because we beat all the harder teams last year, and we just decided to not
the
beat the teams
devil?
we needed to.
I'm just looking at this block score. Jacob DeGrom called strike 3, and then the fourth pitch is a ball. How is that possible? What the heck?
Yikes.
I think something's screwy with my game day app over here. But on that note, the Sox are still up 1-0. Nick Pivetta in a pitcher's duel with Jake DeGrom, matching inning for inning right now. Still only giving up one hit.
Yikes.
Damn, go Pivetta. You the man.
Oh yeah.
What a
Never
steal
mind.
that guy was.
36 to 20. Yeah, you're right.
And then they
Never
go,
mind.
and
I
then they
was
go,
thinking
and,
San
and
Fran
then they go and beat
okay.
KC. So it was like one of those years for them.
I don't know.
To me, they're
Divisional games, man.
they're the
divisional
misfits.
games.
They're the misfits.
Yeah.
They have so many talented pieces, and they have like a little bit here, a little bit there, but they just don't. They don't mend. They don't mend.
Oh, they got to do some winning, man, because they got to put butts in the seats to pay for that new stadium. So
Send Gruden to LA, and I think he'll be good. But I don't think he's good in Vegas.
put them on the Chargers.
Yep.
Damn,
Give him a good team
That
at
won't
Back
men's.
to the Raiders.
that won't happen.
Give him a good team at men's.
Do
I don't know. The
Dang,
Raiders
dang,
need
dang.
to do something though. They spent.
you think the Browns make it back to the playoffs this year?
I don't know. Maybe they
Yes.
just got a balanced team.
I think so. Speaking of which, like, I know it's died
They're gonna
down
be like the
over
new
the
Colts.
past couple month or two, but what these OBJ trade talks that we were talking about like months ago, that's kind of settled down,
I
hasn't
haven't
it?
heard a thing.
Well, I think because they picked up who they picked up, it just there's not a lot of interest there. I don't know. I would imagine
Like, is that still on the table?
I haven't heard anything.
No, I don't know.
It seems stupid to me for them not to
If
get out
Cleveland
of that.
still has the same makeup from last season, I think so. Because I don't think Pittsburgh is going to be the same, like, 10-0, 11-0 team that they were last year
Yeah,
when
but
they started
OBJ's
out.
got what, 1 year left, right? This year, and
I
he's
think
done.
so, yeah.
So at that point, if you're New England, you just put together a good team and you tell them, hey, look, you're going to be the final piece for us to win. You go and you lose in the AFC or divisional round. And you tell them we just need one more
old is
receiver.
he?
He's younger. He's 28, right? No, 29. 29, my guess.
28. Yep.
Okay.
He's 28. So
Certainly
29.
not over the hill.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
but how
also
much
gotta-
money is he going to want?
A lot of talent left there, though. He might be
You
worth
know?
it.
He wants a
You're
ring,
gonna-
though. He wants a ring.
Maybe he'll take a little less
He
money.
just got
to
a
come
bunch
play
of
here.
money to sit out with an ACL rehab, and
Come back strong. Prove that you can make it happen. They've got Cleveland grabbing Asante Samuel Jr. With the 26th pick.
That's a solid pick.
I
mock.
forgot Junior's in this.
Yeah,
solid
man.
pick.
I
Florida
love
State.
Asante Samuel. It's
Oh,
so funny.
absolutely.
Funny you say that. I was thinking about him the other day. I'm like, man, the Pats have had some good corners over the years.
So good.
I'm like, just,
right after Ty Law, too, you bring in Asante Samuel.
Yeah.
I remember my friend Nicole, was such a huge Asante Samuel fan. Like, if anybody on that team, she was just like, Asante Samuel.
he was a beast, man. I love this play style. He went to what, Atlanta, right? We dealt him to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was bummed when he went.
Yeah,
I
but
liked
it was
him a lot.
time. He was done.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
It was time for him to go. But it's going to be fun to see Junior come out. What a great tandem he would make with Denzel Ward in Cleveland.
Yep.
That would be a heck of a secondary. And then they've got
Yep.
the front led by Myles Garrett. They're putting together a heck of a team. That's why I'm wondering, can they go on a little run? Can they overtake Pittsburgh as the number one team in that division? Pittsburgh's got a lot of
Don't sleep on
holes.
Baltimore. Don't
And
sleep
then-
on Baltimore.
I know.
I'd rather sleep on Baltimore than
But
Pittsburgh.
Baltimore's only going to go as far as Jackson's going to take him in. And if Jackson recedes like he did
I
last
just
year,
don't think Pittsburgh's that good. I really
Yeah,
don't.
but
man.
No,
they're
I
not
was going to say they
dynamic
have a lot
enough.
of holes.
They're not dynamic enough. If they go and get Najee Harris, they might be.
They have a lot of holes.
force to
Yeah,
be
well,
reckoned with.
that's it. Like they just lost
James Conner.
They just lost Connor.
You got rid of Bell.
Oh God, why can't I think of the kid's name? Jalen Samuel, and who's the other running back there? Is it their time to step up, or Benny Snell? I couldn't think of Benny Snell.
Yeah, Snell. Yeah.
So can they step up, or this draft's got them? This has got them going with Najee Harris at 24.
What's Juju doing?
Juju's back.
Juju's still on the market,
He's back.
right?
No,
Staying.
he's
No,
back.
Oh,
he's
he's
not.
staying.
He resigned. He's back.
He turned down big money to come back.
Yep.
They were ready to ink a big money deal with, I forget the team now. And then
didn't I
he was
hear
like,
it
no,
about
He's back
just
in the
kidding.
Berg.
Why didn't I hear about
What
that?
was he gonna go Baltimore with it?
I didn't really hear anything other
He was
than
gonna sign. He
the
got
Pittsburgh
a big
thing.
money deal. They thought it was all said and done. He said he was all set with Pittsburgh, and then he flipped back to him
Huh.
last second.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like everyone was like, he's gone,
Yeah.
and then boom, back.
Crazy.
Because he
Yeah.
unfollowed a bunch of people from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, and then all of
he
a
showed
sudden
all
he
the
was-
signs of being gone.
Yeah.
he was back on his Twitter with
Yep.
I'm back.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay, I'm not going anywhere.
Like
he was
Jordan coming back from playing baseball.
saying. right? Yo,
All you need. I wrote this whole thing. I'm back.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's all you
That's
need.
too funny.
On that note, we got this break here. We can
Break
get
it.
out of the way. 508.
Sox still up 1-0.
Hey, go Sox. 508-222-1320. About 3/4 through the show. So tune in. Call in.
Yerp,
508-222-1320. Welcome on back. MVP Sports Talk Radio.
What the devil's going on?
What the
There we
devil?
go.
Oh yeah. Sorry, there got a little out of control. I was trying to get some cards.
Yo, shout out to the greatest sport on earth, UFC, for packing a full house at the Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. 15,000 fans for one of the greatest UFC pay-per-view cards I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man, so much action. Dana
Epic.
White embodies
Absolutely epic.
Dana White embodies what every owner should be like. And I love it.
Some people wearing masks, some not. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask.
I agree.
If you don't.
There was a big
There
thing.
you go.
So we're not going to get too political, but I'll just quickly board it. There was a big thing in our paper, town paper today. They posted. It was like, the outdoor mask ban's coming to an end. You don't have to wear them. And people were like, this is ridiculous. I commented, I'm like, they didn't say that you don't have to wear a mask. They're saying that.
It's not mandatory.
Yeah, not mandatory. So you can wear your mask.
Outside.
People cannot wear their mask. And it is what it is. Hey, if you want to wear your mask for 5 years from now, I'm not going to judge you.
Yep.
Then just don't judge me if I don't wear it. Look, I'm a bigger dude, so maybe I could die easy from COVID. But if I'm not caring about my own health, don't worry about me.
Welcome to America, where we have free will.
If I'm not worrying about my own health, you know what I
Freedom
mean?
to make our own choices.
If you and your children would love to wear a mask, if you want to wash your table every 10, I don't care.
If you want to get vaccinated right now, go for it. If you want to wait and see how it pans out and not get vaccinated yet,
now they're talking about new pills that are going to beat COVID at the end of the year. Pfizer's rolling out pills that are going to beat COVID.
Dang, I should have waited for that. I got my shot in a week from Saturday, my second dose.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm not getting it.
I should have waited.
You get it, Drew? No? I'm all set. I don't know. I can't say too much because my girls work, but
I don't mind.
just know that I know enough that I'm like,
I'm going
nah.
to Virginia again in May for my sister's wedding. She asked me if I could get vaccinated. I was like, you know what? I was going to hold off for a little bit, but you know what? Whatever. Might as well. I'll get it out of the way.
Hey, I'm not got nothing against
Whatever.
people that do it. My brother got vaccinated. My mom got vaccinated. I think my dad's getting vaccinated. To each their own. I just said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm younger. If I die, I die. Whatever. I don't really get my flu shot either, though. I'm not really big on substance in my body. I take the pills I need to take, but I've had a toothache because I had a cracked molar.
Well, the when you're a kid and you need to get those vaccinations.
Yeah, totally.
From,
Look,
that's different.
I worked in healthcare
right?
before.
Yeah.
I got my TB shot. I'm cool with that. I've gotten my, I've gotten my
booster shots,
all kinds of
your
boosters and everything.
chicken pox thing, and
I'm fine with it. Yeah, and you know why I'm fine? Those have been out for years and years and years. They're very
Tried and
credible.
true.
Yep.
proven to work.
Right.
So I'm cool with it, yeah. And I think the people that are older, people that are at risk, totally should get the vaccine. Much like Joe Rogan said, you're at risk, get the vaccine. But if you're young and healthy, don't. Why?
Yeah, just
Why?
make sure it's not Johnson & Johnson.
Not to mention they don't even know how long it works for.
Right.
So, the meds will come out and we'll be okay.
Very true.
That's it. Could be like the flu shot. Every year you're going to a doctor, you're getting one.
Yep.
Who knows?
It totally will be. It'll be every year. I mean, there's no way that these drug companies are going to turn down that gravy train, baby.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just not big on it. Like, I got a toothache this week because I have a cracked molar. I got to get it drilled. Well, anyway, but I got infected. And so I've been taking Advil. And I always get prescribed for, my arm that I injured at work, gabapentin. So I barely take it. I don't like drugs in my
No,
body.
I hear you, man. Same way.
I don't even like taking Advil. I mean, if I got a killer headache, I'll take it. But small pain, I don't take anything.
No,
I
I'm the
just
same
don't
way.
like it.
With this pinch, it's been Tylenol.
Yeah.
First couple of days when it was excruciating, I was taking the heavy stuff, and then I was like, I don't need that.
Yep.
I'm going to get the old Tylenol rolling.
Yep. One,
That's all I've been doing.
opioid addiction's crazy
Right.
nowadays. Two, I mean, I like to take care. I don't take great care of my body, but when I can, I'm not going to put bad substances and burn my liver out.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I try to
not.
take care of what I can.
Man, oh man. So last half hour, let's touch base on some stuff.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little UFC going here, maybe.
You missed out on some bets, man.
I heard
It was a
that
good
there were
night.
some good fights, and
We had a
missed out on
solid
some good
parlay.
bets.
We took Usman, we took Rose, and we took Shevchenko.
Mm-hmm.
Rose was the underdog against Wei Lee. Yep.
And you guys hit.
We hit. We tripled our money.
Nice little triple up.
Tripled our money.
Nothing wrong with that.
Can't complain
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a trip.
It was nice. It was very nice.
I've been just tripling up my money in the old Bitcoin / cryptocurrency field.
That straight right hand
that
Usman landed on Masvidal in the main event was insane.
For starters, I hate Usman.
Why?
I kind of like him now. I really like his. So I liked his press conference a lot. I don't know. I don't like the arrogantness. I've never been a big McGregor fan. Never been a big Usman fan.
I don't think Usman doesn't have that level of arrogance. He
It's
just
more of
knows.
like the
He just knows
yeah.
that he can improve, and he's been walking over the entire division.
Yeah, I mean
to
the
this
whole
point.
like I'm only fighting that 30% thing pissed me off. And I just didn't like the attitude and the arrogance about it. But I will say
He gets better
that
every single
hit,
fight.
That hit was I can't say on air. Very impressive. Very impressive.
He looked really good.
It made me look like a fool because we're sitting outside on the projector. We had it going.
Yeah.
And
That was cool. Did it work out okay?
Yeah, it worked great. Yeah. And so
Is he keeping it?
Yeah. So the only issue is you can't run it from a laptop because Disney sucks.
Really?
So Disney does not allow certain devices to stream. They have to be like a sole proprietor device. So
Even
phone,
on ESPN Plus?
Nope. So phone, laptop, you can get audio, not video. So we had to put out the PlayStation because the PlayStation has its own rights to ESPN.
Yeah.
So they could broadcast it. So we had to bring the PS4 out to do it, but not a laptop. It's stupid. You can watch it on a laptop, but you can't project it to a screen on a laptop.
Stupid ESPN
Makes no
Plus,
sense.
dude.
PS4 though, that you get the control.
Yeah, it
You
wasn't
throw
bad.
the HDMI cable into
But
the
we were
projector.
just like, what is happening? And I'm like, it's got to be ESPN cutting the rights. But
Has to
I
be.
realized Disney bought them out.
Yep.
And since the buyout, that was one thing they cut.
That's crazy.
That's so
All right,
weird.
well, all
Very
right.
weird.
But hey, man,
So be
UFC, like, I just think you guys are you're hitting on it, man. Like they're like legit.
It's my favorite sport.
They're big
It's
deal.
the best sport to watch
I've
right
been
now.
watching it
It's
for
fun,
so
like,
long.
Every week.
The week I watched the prelims on your account, man, that was a good time. Watching
You
those
still
guys
have
and
access
girls
to
just
it,
getting
right?
Smashed. Yeah, I can still get it signed
If
in
you
on my
scroll
TV.
down to ESPN Plus, look at the
watch
best
them
of the
all, yeah.
UFC.
Yep.
Every single past pay-per-view event is available for you to watch, and you
cool.
can watch every
So I can
single
go
fight.
Yeah,
see
that's
last
a great
week's.
thing.
You can see the Usman fight. You can see everything.
All right.
I,
So,
dude,
obviously,
I watch it all
I know
the time.
results, but just watching the
I
fight
watched
will be
the
fun.
Colby and Usman fight for like the 7th time.
Can't wait for that rematch.
That's awesome.
Can't wait for that rematch. That was one of my favorite fights.
It's the only fight to make.
Yep.
Right in that division, it's the only fight to make.
Yep.
Until Leon Edwards beats Nate Diaz, it's the only fight to make.
Yep.
It is.
And like Joe Rogan said, one of his favorite fights of all time.
It's up there.
It was a great fight.
Cool. Joe
It was
Rogan's
close.
reaction to the dude's broken
Because
leg.
before
His reactions in general, man.
before Colby got knocked
amazing.
out, I think Usman was winning that 5th round, and I think he would have won the decision. But it was still a close fight.
Yeah, very
And
good
Colby is the one person that has brought him to the brink. Well, not to the brink, but has made it that
Yeah,
close.
gave him a challenge. And,
But with the way that Usman's been improving fight after fight after fight, Colby's only fought Usman and Woodley,
Yeah.
right? And we know who Colby is. We know who he is,
yeah.
right?
He needs to
Usman
bring
is
a new
making
dynamic.
significant improvements, and Colby's cardio is going to be the difference. If Colby can push the pace more, because he didn't do it in the first fight, he tailed off like the first round and like the beginning of the second round. He was pushing Usman, and he was controlling everything, and then he tailed off. Then he broke his jaw, and he tailed off even more. He's got to maintain a pace, and he's got to keep up the pressure.
He needs more
because if
dynamic,
not,
too.
Usman's going to pick him apart.
Yeah, he needs a bit more dynamic. It'd be a good fight, though.
I see it as stand-up fight too. It'll be stand-up the whole way.
I want Kobe to win so bad, but I don't know.
I love me a little ground and pound. I'm a big ground and pound fan. You get on the ground,
So you would have liked the Valentina
do
fight.
the pound,
Yep.
maybe break a knuckle here and there.
Shevchenko
You would have liked
fight
the
was
Shiv-
nice.
you would have loved the Shevchenko fight.
Yeah.
It was a definition of a schoolyard bully.
Nice.
There's
So
not
what she
a
did
there's not
was-
another fight for Shevchenko either, other than
she
Nunes.
straight crucifixed the girl. He had her laying down flat and then laid across her shoulder blades. So
she blocked her
cannot
arms.
move her
She
Just
arms.
basically had
she's
like
literally
that side
laying
control
elbowing her in the head.
right across it.
like this right on her head.
Nothing the girl
That's
can
some
do.
ground and pound right
Fully
there.
in her.
That's what I'm
It's
talking
schoolyard bully. I mean, this
Oh,
girl's
yeah.
flailing her arms, can't get free, getting beat on.
about. Reminds me of Nolan and Lucas the other day. Nolan decided he was gonna shoot on Lucas, and then he had nice side control. It's kind of like giving it to them a little
That's
bit.
the great thing about having boys.
great.
You can just let them fight it
So
out.
great. They're 3-1, so
just sitting
as
there
long
in
as they're not like whacking each other's heads around, I'm fine. Do whatever you
Sitting there in
want.
the chair, like, yeah, all right.
Totally. I was like
Get 'em
videoing it.
in.
I'm like, I'm gonna show this to the guys. Watch this. I'll send it in the group chat later.
Oh, for sure.
It's so funny. So Celtics are terrible. Even though they're winning tonight, they're terrible. Maybe they'll make it into that first round.
I don't want them to.
We'll see what happens.
I'm done.
I
I'm done with the
think they
Celtics.
make the playoffs, right? So
Where are
the
they
funny
sitting?
thing, they're
They're at
the
six
sixth
right
seed
now.
right now, tied with whoever's tied with Miami, maybe. But then it's like 7, 8, 9, 10 all make the playoffs, but for play-ins, right? So they've got to get the play-in.
Wait, what?
So so this year they're doing
It's a different format?
A different format.
Why did I not know
so
this?
it's 8 teams that make the tournament, but the 7, 8, 9, and 10 teams battle
So
in like a
7 plays
round
10.
robin double elimination style thing. 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. Yep, and then it's like a double elimination type thing for the 2 teams that are left. Then they go and play.
So best 2 out of 3.
Yep. So the last 2 teams will be 7, 8, and then they'll play 1 and 2 basically in the
Interesting.
actual tournament. So yeah, it's interesting this year. So I think the Celtics make it somehow into some of that.
They're in the thick of things, like because they're that. So with the Celtics starting at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and even 11, they're within 5 games of each other. 6 through 11, they're within 5 games. How many games are left? They've played
I think there's like 10 games
32
left.
and 30, so 62 games. So what?
Yeah, the 10
20
games
games.
left, 'cause
10
they
games
play- they
left.
play
72
72 this year.
So
Yeah.
10 games left.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of shaking up that could happen. So
knows?
so the goal for the Celtics is to stay away from that 7 to 10,
Right. They got to just stay in the top 6, and then I think they'll be okay.
and they'll
and
face.
they'll at least be
they'll see-
guaranteed to be in the first round.
It's okay. They'll see Milwaukee in round 1.
Right?
See
Have
ya.
fun with that.
Sweep.
I mean, they played Milwaukee well, but I mean, it's a whole different game
How
when they're
about
playing
the
in the
New
playoffs.
York Knicks sitting at 4?
They're
man?
looking all right, right?
That's crazy.
You know, the scary part is like a week ago, the Celtics were at 4, but now that those 4 teams are just like jockeying back and forth.
And then
Teeter-totter, yeah.
a few weeks ago, they were, what,
Yeah.
at 8 or 10?
Yeah, they were down at like
There's
7
like-
or 8, exactly.
How about the Lakers too?
They had a little
Lakers are
run.
sitting down at 5.
Yeah, but they've had no LeBron now for a while. Anthony Davis has been hurt most of the year. I mean, let's be
I
honest.
feel
If
like
those
five
guys
is-
aren't healthy,
5 is a good spot for
they're
them.
not going to repeat.
Honestly, yeah, but 5
They're
is,
not going to be doing
You know
much.
who I love?
5's a good spot to not have those 2 guys, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I haven't watched like the NBA very much. I catch the highlights like on my feed and stuff like that. Chris Paul for MVP. I'm on the board. I'm on board. Every team Chris Paul goes to, that team gets better.
Yeah.
And Phoenix is sitting pretty at number 2 in the West.
Chris Paul's awesome, man. I love that guy. And then obviously they've got Devin Booker out there, who's a stud. But yeah, the Lakers have to be healthy to repeat. They won't do that unless both of those guys are healthy. So we'll see what happens there. And honestly, like to Nick's point, like if the Celtics could somehow find a way to not make it into the playoffs at all, I would be okay with that too.
Yeah, I feel
because
like if you don't have
let's
a
get a
shot-
better pick next year.
Yep.
Is
That's all.
Brooklyn
You know?
like your clear-cut favorite here to win the finals? Or is it pretty wide open? I think it's pretty wide open, right?
I mean, if they're all healthy,
Depending on who they match up with.
right? If they're all healthy, I think that's a tough team to beat. But Harden's been busted up. His legs been screwing with him. Kyrie's been taking time off. But again, they're just milking it through the rest of the season at this point. Once they get to the playoffs, that's when it's going to matter. I don't know. I mean, if the Celtics make it past the first round, I'll be very surprised. It doesn't feel like their year. They don't feel like they play the way that a team needs to play. And honestly, like maybe I'm saying the wrong things because we really haven't seen them on the court at the same time together. Like if you go back and look at those guys that are supposed to be the nucleus of the team, I don't think there's 5 games where they've all been in the lineup together. You know, when you're talking about Walker, Tatum, Brown, Smart, obviously as your catalyst, and then they have Evan Fournier, who they just brought in to come off the bench, and then my guy Rob Williams or Tristan Thompson. There hasn't been like 5 games all year where all those guys have played together. Like tonight, they've got Tremont Waters as their starting point guard. Like, okay, cool. And he's actually having a good game. He's got 5 assists already. But, I mean, like, there's just no consistency. All year it's been like that. Whether, it's Kyrie not playing, Kemba not playing on back-to-back nights. or somebody getting dinged up or hurt, or somebody having COVID protocols. They just can't get all those guys out there. So, maybe if the playoffs show up and they all show up healthy and they can actually play, maybe it's a different team. Because right now, it just looks like a team that's one and done.
I don't think it'll happen.
I mean, look, that's me as a
Something
homer being like
needs
having hope.
to change.
The hope light is on,
It's like a
Something
hopeless romantic.
needs
Exactly.
to change. Whether it's the front office, whether Ainge needs to go, whether Stevens needs to go.
I think
whether
Honestly,
Brown or Tatum
I feel
or
like they have
Smart.
the pieces. They just got to put it all together. They don't have
know.
anybody to put
I
it
feel
together
like
for
the
them.
problem
You've
was,
had long enough.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
the guy
but-
that I like right now a lot, and I'm watching games to watch him, is Jabari Parker. Did you know
Really?
Did you know they got Parker?
He's in. Yeah.
They have Parker on the Celtics now.
I know.
Yeah. He's fun. He's only
Riddled-
26.
He's been riddled by injuries
He's only
his entire
26.
NBA career.
Yep.
He was the number one recruit in high school and went to Duke.
He's
Declared
fun
for
to
the
watch.
draft after his first year. I think he was taken first overall. Pretty sure he was the first overall pick a few years back. Pretty sure he was number
the
one.
problem I have with the Celtics is it's excuse after excuse with no accountability.
Yeah.
They're like, we need that core guy to help mend everything together, and then they go get Smart, and it's like, oh,
What
but
about
that's
Jimmy G?
not working.
What about Jimmy G? Do we have breaking news? Do we? What about Jimmy G? Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't know why I
Will
would think so.
49ers trade
Tim's
Jimmy
posting
Garoppolo.
about that. Anyway, so Celtics are terrible. Hopefully they are one and done. How about the Bruins? What do you think, guys? Do we have enough pieces now that they brought in Hall and the rest of the guys that they got at the trade deadline?
For who?
Maybe
For the Bruins?
I love the Taylor Hall trade.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Me too.
You didn't give up much.
Nope. No, they gave an appropriate amount for that guy for what he was producing.
You could probably re-sign him at the end of the year. He's gelled in. He's meshed really well.
She's come in and played great.
It's just like our offense gets stagnant. It's those third and fourth lines that are just
Yeah.
Coyle sucks right now.
Yeah, we're not getting a lot of production out of him.
Jake DeBrusque is still a shell of himself. Rask has been hurt all year.
Yeah, he's back now, and he played pretty good the other night. How about Swayman?
Swayman's been solid.
Solid, man. Absolutely.
You know what? Rask and Swayman.
Yeah, that's
Sid
your
Halak.
two guys. Halak, see you later.
Yeah.
Yep. So you
I'm
put him
fine
up
with
in
that.
the seventh row, whatever that is there.
You go with the hot
Seventh
hand.
section.
Shoot.
Absolutely. Swayman's
If
awesome.
If Tuca hasn't played consistently and Swayman's hot going into the playoffs,
You might ride
play
that
Swayman.
guy. Absolutely.
Ride the wave.
Like St. Louis did the year they beat us. Absolutely.
Ride the wave.
Absolutely. Hot
there's all
hand,
sorts
baby.
of Jimmy
Let's
G
go.
rumor. Jeff House says nothing happening between Pats and Jimmy Garoppolo at this time, according to two reliable sources. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that-
we saw that.
This is old news, Tim.
Well, Tim's bringing up what we already broke earlier.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's what happens, tune into the show.
Oh, man, that's funny.
On that note-
way to catch up, Timmy Tims.
We'll
On that
catch up.
note,
Taking a break.
final break.
Let's do it.
We're gonna get out of the
Final
See you
way.
guys on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
So Timmy wants Fields bad, man. He thinks Fields is coming here. I don't like Fields at all. I talked to you about it before. Ryan asked me. I think he's Haskins 2.0. I don't see him being a successful quarterback. All those Ohio State guys,
Carolina's not going to steal
fantastic.
Fields.
They look so awesome in the college ranks, and then they come into the NFL and they can't play because they're not just running around and chucking the ball down the field. But whatever. I don't think they're going after Fields, so no big deal there.
Who? New England?
Yeah, I don't think New England's interested in Fields.
I
mean, to Tim's point, they
no,
went to his pro day. But
no. On the contrary, I think they're very interested in Fields.
I don't think they want him.
I think they're very interested in
Smoke
Fields.
screen.
Justin Fields' mom is from Bellingham.
I know, but did
She's
Bill
got
even go?
ties
Bill
here.
didn't even go to the pro day. Bill didn't even show up.
Plus, all these sports books, the Justin Fields, like the favorite for where Justin Fields is going to go is New England.
He's doing.
So
doesn't that tell you that he's not coming here?
Yeah, that's true.
Your
That's
only
true.
counter argument would be that he tricked San Fran into panic getting Fields to get Mac Jones.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your argument. It's like they pull the old switcheroo and
Now, Mac Jones, I could see them going for because he's a Saban guy.
Yeah.
And obviously him and Saban are
Because-
tight.
So if you were to break it down and say, okay, I've got $100. The New England Patriots are selecting this player tomorrow night. It's Justin Fields.
yeah, that's where I put my 100.
You know where I stand on that. They trade back.
Trade back for the Bama guy.
Barmore, let's
Barmore.
go. Get your Barmore.
So you're putting so you got $100 to throw a bet on who the Pats are going to bet are going to take.
You know why? Because
and you're taking Barmore.
That's the typical Patriots move.
Mine's Justin Fields. It's Justin
Likewise.
Fields.
Like I said, I mean, generally speaking, New England's pretty hush-hush. The last time they were out open about who they were going to take, Danny Isabella got sniped from
Andy
them.
Isabella, yeah.
So
as a Pats fan, like I said at the beginning, like I'd love to see him grab a QB because that's the flashy play. And we know we don't want to watch Cam here for the next 4 or 5 years.
I feel like Cam got paid to coach somebody up. I feel like they had a talk and like, hey, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No
he's
about
a
last
great guy
year.
in the room, like he was saying before, man. Ryan said it. Like he's a great morale guy. He's a great guy for getting the room fired up. He just doesn't have the arm anymore. He just doesn't have it.
My theory though is the Pat's offense this year.
Absolutely. With Sean Lee, when did he send? Who's Mark Ambrose?
What happened?
With the retirement, do you know who Mark Ambrose is?
I know who Sean Lee is. He's retired.
No. The Mark Ambrose commented on our page or on our video. With the retirement of Sean Lee, does Dallas need to take a defensive player with the number 10 pick?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or should they still focus on Kyle Pitts? Kyle Pitts will not be there at 10.
Kyle Pitts isn't going to be there at 10.
Kyle Pitts is going top
Not even
5.
close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Kyle
Pitts is going 4 to Atlanta. That's
Sean
my
Lee
prediction.
has been hurt his entire career. They have what's his face at middle linebacker. Freaking I forget his name. Dude with the big neck roll.
So we kind of
Brown.
His name. No.
Is it Brown? Is his last name Brown?
If you say his name, it'll.
we kind of touched on this earlier.
No, they'll go
Who was that
certain.
comment from? Mark.
Yeah, Mark Ambrose.
Yeah, Mark. We kind of touched on it earlier on. They're going defense. I mean,
Corner.
They have to go defense.
The corner from Alabama, Patrick Surtain, the second.
One thing I said earlier I could see happening would be Dallas trading down to 15 with New England. New England sending them Gilmore and 15 for pick 10. You get a corner out of it, and then you draft someone else. You get 2 defensive guys with 1 pick. Best bang for your buck. Ryan doesn't really think Gilmore's going anywhere, but if there's an easy, affordable trade-up, it's that option. I mean, they got to go defense. You got all the offensive weapons. You've broke the bank on offensive players.
So Denver's
I don't
out.
know how you don't do anything else.
So Denver's out. Carolina's got Sam Darnold, but they could they take a quarterback?
There's rumors. They haven't picked up the option either, so.
They could take
Maybe,
one. So do you need to get ahead of Carolina?
I don't know, because who am I thinking of that they would take?
Detroit at 7. I don't think Detroit would take anything.
DeGrom is out of the game after 6 innings.
Yeah? 1 earned. Oh, his pitch count must have been high. Attaboy, Cora.
I love it, man.
There you go,
and
Cora.
Pavetta matching him only gave up 2 hits.
Nice.
Unbelievable, man.
All right, I'm trying
That's
to
crazy
remember
good.
who I'm thinking of here that I would see Carolina taking with Darnold sitting in front of him. Give me a second.
DeGrom, 93 pitches. Still come
Through
still
6,
come out.
and they took him out
Yep.
on 1 earned?
Yep. 3 hits, 1 earned, 9 Ks, 1 walk.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
can see
93
them.
pitches? That's it?
Hey, like almost doubled his ERA with that 1 earned run.
I can see them going with Zach Wilson if he sticks, but I don't know if he will.
Wait, what?
I think he's going to go to the Jets.
Oh, Zach Wilson's definitely going to the Jets.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
definitely going to Jets.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't go there, then I could
If
see
they
Carolina.
hadn't, if they hadn't traded Darnold, I would have said maybe not.
Zach Wilson's pro day made him the second overall pick.
Yeah. Did
I'll
you
tell
watch
you
the
that
video?
much.
Did you watch his interview?
The dude is insane.
You watch his interview?
No.
So, like, you know how he did the fake, the pump fake, like, blast out on a slant route?
Yep.
He planned that whole thing. So, like, he was, like, with his trainer, and he was like, you know, what can we do to stand out? Like, you know, he's like, generally players come out and they pick the safe plays to get him. You know what I mean? You go on NFL Pro Day, you got safe plays, make
Right.
the pass.
Right.
Don't look dumb. He took the counter opposite and was like, we want to stick out. We want to dagger to the throat. We want to wow them. Risky. What are we doing? And they came up with that.
Oh,
And
sick.
I mean, because if you watch the video after he makes
And then-
it,
and
he
he-
looks
yeah.
looks to his trainer and just like the little smirk smile,
Yeah.
like we did
Right.
that. We did that. You know what? Like,
Plus,
yeah,
like
that's us.
that like 60-yard throw that he made on the run, like on a dime.
That's what it was. Yeah, pump
Yeah.
fake, roll on the left,
Roll out and the
60-yard
throw.
blast.
Yep. It was crazy.
That's-
He's got the arm, man. He's got the mobility. He's going to
I
look
could see
great
him-
throwing to my boy Denzel Mims.
I can see him
next year.
sitting behind Darnold for a year, but I mean, yeah, he's not going to make 8. So I don't know if there's any QB that they would want for that offense. I think Fields is the best fit here, though. I think you're emulating Carolina's, Super Bowl run offense right now. You got a very similar build out. So then you have Cam Newton, who was there for that offense. You coach up Fields how to run that offense, and then you bow out, and then you have Fields running the show.
I just don't want Cam.
You're gonna have Cam for a year, dude. You're not gonna.
Jimmy G is still a possibility.
No,
I don't know.
I don't see them. Here's the
I just
problem I
don't
have.
I just don't see much improvement.
Here's the problem
with
I
Cam
have. I don't
as our
see
quarterback.
San Fran taking like Mac Jones or whoever they take, putting them behind the offensive line that could not protect Jimmy G and risking their number 3 pick.
Right, so they
season
load up
one.
on O-line after that in the draft.
Yeah, but you got to give them a year to get
They also have-
acclimated.
They signed a couple guys too.
Yeah, they got a couple guys, but you're gonna put Jimmy G out there behind him. You're gonna let Jimmy G maybe get slaughtered, show the couple things over to Mac Jones. You're just gonna. Mac Jones has a lot of Garoppolo Brady tendencies. He checks a lot of Brady boxes. He looks good. He's a game manager. He's a game manager. He's almost ready to go. So then you test out your new offensive line with someone like Jimmy G to take the blows, and then you put him in next season.
Can you see
Lawrence
a guy?
is not Russell 2.0.
I just don't see
Jesus.
them. I just don't see them taking the number 3 pick and being like, "Good luck. Don't tear your ACL."
Can you see a guy like Kyle Trask slip into the Pats in the second round?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I think the Pats would go after in the second round, as a guy that comes in, plays behind Cam for a year, and has an opportunity.
But
to
there would
develop.
have to be a lot of explosives, unexpecteds happening that they wouldn't draft a quarterback at 15. There's just so much talent that one of these guys is going to fall to 15, and I don't see New England being like.
I mean, you've got 5 quarterbacks that are rated higher than Trask. So
Yeah.
Trask is number 6.
he's the 6th rated QB.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have.
Ahead of that guy from Stanford?
So you have
Because you have
Mac Jones
Lawrence.
you've got
Mac Jones, and then it's Trey Lance.
Trey Lance
and
at
then
4,
it's Fields, and then
Fields,
it's what's his
Zach
name?
Wilson,
and then it's Lawrence.
and then Lawrence. Yep. So I could see a guy like Trask from Florida going to the Pats in the second round. That'd be a guy that I'd love to see here.
I like 6'5".
6'5" build.
So he's projected 4th pick, second round.
Yep, 2nd to 4th round.
To who? Who takes him?
No, just like that's where they're slotting him at. I don't know who's picking at that spot, but that's where they're saying.
That's another thing you got to look at in the second round.
Yep, and then you're talking about the kid from Mills from Stanford.
Yeah, Mills, yeah.
Yep.
Davis Mills, that's his name.
Yep.
Yeah, he's projected 2nd or 4th, right?
Then
7th.
Mond from Texas A&M is another guy.
Yeah.
Any one of these guys I could see the Pats going for in that second round.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see that they don't take a quarterback with all this talent. I mean, this is a very rich quarterback talented draft.
It's so like against what Bill does.
Yeah.
To see them grab a QB there.
So
in
the
that
only thing
first
I can
round.
see is if the main 5 are gone, then I see him waiting this round
Right.
2.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, the next 3
because that means a top defensive guy is sliding to 15,
Yep. Or
they
wide
trade up
receiver.
to 13 or 12 and they get that top defensive guy that slid down that far.
It's just hard to see
Which is
that.
where I could see them trading up to get like a
Where are
Parsons
they
or somebody
predicting
like
Micah
that.
Parsons to go?
He's in the like 12 to 15 range.
Is he really?
Yeah, I
I
think-
could have swore he's going to go top 10.
I think you're right, but because of all these QBs going
Especially
early,
after Denver traded for
everybody going
Bridgewater,
off.
I think
Half-
Denver
half-
gets Parsons.
You figure, I mean, what, 30, 40%? 40% of the first handful of picks is going QB.
Top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah. And then you're going to have at least one or two more. You're talking almost 50% of the first 10 picks.
Then you
are
wait till
QBs.
Carolina.
Yeah, and then
so this draft has the CBS mock has him going to Denver at 9.
Micah? Yeah.
Yep. So top 10. So he'd be a top 9 pick, obviously.
That's where I thought he would go.
Yep.
Especially after they traded for Bridgewater.
is that an updated one?
This is
I would have loved
updated as
Bridgewater.
of today.
I would have made that move for Bridgewater.
Because
I easily would have.
they had.
I'm sorry, updated as of yesterday.
Okay, because this CBS one updated last night has Denver going with Rashawn Slater, offensive line. And they have Carolina taking Fields at 8. And then New England taking Trey Lance at 10. So then they're accounting, mock trade Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dallas trades down. They'll still get their defensive guy.
And then this other older CBS one has a mock trade Dallas, them taking Mac Jones at 10.
Who would you rather have as a Pats fan, Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Justin Fields. Look, I think Mac Jones looks good, but I think New England's trying to get away from the standalone QB role, and I want mobility.
I'm happy with either one.
I want mobility.
I think the ceiling's higher for Trey Lance, though.
I think you're right, man. I think Lance would be a good guy to have.
But I think Fields gets on his feet. I think Fields starts quicker, but Lance is more of a project.
Right. Yeah, he's more
So
of that guy.
if
that
you're
going to
draft a guy that's going to sit for a couple of years,
I'd rather see Lance.
I'd rather see Lance.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to sit some guy, if Cam's your starting quarterback and he's shaky through the first few weeks, I think Fields can step in and make more of an impact immediately than Trey Lance could.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. This draft
There's
one of the
so many
biggest
variables.
toss-ups.
Like it's insane.
It's nuts, man.
freaking
We're going to
awesome.
find out tomorrow
insane.
night. Well, all the
And
fireworks happen.
Trevor Lawrence is not Jamarcus frickin' Russell. Can we put that to bed? Jamarcus Russell played one solid season.
Right.
Like he's not Jamarcus Russell. He's not Ryan Leaf. All
I
right.
still think
the
he's not going to live up to the hype, but I don't think he'll be that big of a
what
bust.
hype? What's the
No, I
hype?
mean, like right now, it's like
say he's just the number
he's the
one
number one
draft
overall
pick,
pick, and like he's gonna save the franchise. Like I don't
Him?
see that happening,
Here-
but I think he'll come in and be a serviceable QB for the next 8 to 10
Here's how I
years.
weigh the hype. I think he's going to rank 4th or 5th out of the top 5 QBs right now. I think they'll all be better than him.
Yeah,
I think he'll be 4th or 5th. He may
I
be
think
better
Wilson
than
will
Trey
definitely
Lance.
be better than him.
He's Joe Burrow. He is.
I see Mac Jones
See, I
and
feel
Fields
like-
kind of
See,
like 1 and
so
2.
Joe Burrow
I watched him
only
go up
had
against
1
Joe
year of
Burrow,
work.
and Joe Burrow was better than that.
Joe Burrow had 1 year of work. Trevor Lawrence has 3 years of solid background.
I don't know, man.
He
I think
does.
he's going to be
I still-
4 or
I still
5
feel-
out
I
of
still
top
And he
feel
5.
comes from a great.
I still feel like that
college.
championship
Great
game
personnel.
sealed the deal for me. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, I
See you
feel like
later,
he'll be like
Curly
4th
Blonde.
or 5th.
You know what
I
sealed the deal
definitely-
for me? Justin Fields losing to Jake Fromm in Georgia.
I hear that, man. I hear
but
that.
And then
You got a
him
young
putting up
buck.
goose eggs against Northwestern Illinois and
This
Bama.
is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
No.
Hey, on that note, guys, it's 9. I got to split.
Hey,
I know it's getting close to that time,
That time.
so it's been fun being in here for the last 2. I don't get to do it very often, but thanks for having the Drewster in studio, guys.
What a great
Hopefully we'll do it
surprise.
again soon. On that note, I will let you guys do your sign-off. I'm out.
Welcome back.
on that note, MVP Sports Talk Radio, just a quick update on the podcast. I have the recording. I just got to edit it. You know, Tim had taken a leave of absence, so I wanted to push back the first episode so we can keep a continuous flow of recording. So once Tim is ready to record episode 2, we will drop episode 1.
Yeah?
That's kind of how I want to do it, yeah.
When do we want to record episode 2?
Well, as soon as Tim is good to record it, or if we get in a fill-in, we get some a third. Nonetheless, when episode 2 records, we're going to drop 1. I know it's already recorded, been recorded for a couple weeks, but I just wanted to update the people.
We still got to edit it, though, right?
Yeah, editing will be pretty quick. But I didn't want to drop it and then leave a gap. Yeah. So, on that note, that's your update. Nick, Drew, and Tim in studio tonight. I don't know why I said Tim. Nick, Drew, and Ryan in studio tonight.
Ryan. We're missing Tim.
It's that time.
Sad face.
Yeah. But on that note, we'll see you next Wednesday. We're going to have a draft summary. It's going to be obviously 6 days later, but we're going to have all our draft feedback. Hopefully, we're going to be talking about the next quarterback for the New England Patriots. On that note, see you next time. It's MVP Sports Talk Radio, WARA Studios. Catch you later.